things that I'm going to do. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give a sort of more objective summary of the specific events that occurred during the last session. I'm not going to be super detailed, but I'm also going to make sure to try and hit all of the high points. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you how your characters are doing right now, as in you can interpret it in whatever way you wish. You can say how they're doing emotionally, how they're doing physically, their plans, anything of that nature. All that I ask is that you do give some sort of response in terms of how your character is after the events of the previous session and going into this one, so that way we have a sort of benchmark for storytelling leading into this one. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. So in the events of the previous session, there were a sort of like collective grouping of different fates that are finally starting to intertwine in the small northern town of Henst. Harvey, a individual who is working with a particular organization, had been given some information that could pose a problem for the whole of Arendipidus, and upon arriving to acquire that information from his associate Tiravel, came to discover that Tiravel had been murdered. He cased the joint, took note of the dagger that was used for the murder of Tiravel, and fled when he heard that the gate was being smashed down. At the same time that Harvey was going to go and meet with Tiravel, we also had Lumia and Moggs, who came to town for their own particular reasons, which I'm not going to, just divulge without their permission. They sat down in the tavern to have a good bite to eat, maybe have been getting to know each other for the past week since they started their adventure together, when they too heard the gates of Henst being barged down. And our fourth and final member barreled through the gate. It was part of the reason why it got tore down. Wherein these four intertwining fates finally did come together to help dispatch the threat that invaded Henst, which is to say, a monster, as is typical in Arendipidus. Monsters and monstrosities are known to cause very serious problems here, and this was no exception. After dispatching the beast, they had a couple of moments with the town's guard captain, who gave them an offer. They became road wardens. Road wardens being a intergovernmental agency that operates for the people of Arendipidus, helping protect caravans as they travel between cities, and helping keep the roads of Arendipidus safe from monstrosities and the wilderness beyond. With that having been said, the last time that we left off was just after the party had signed themselves on to be road wardens, and when they had received their effectively reward for protecting the city, which was, I believe it was 100 gold total, so 25 gold a head, right?
Yes.
If I'm remembering that correctly. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll not dwell too heavily on this, because I believe we came to the determination that we wanted to cut to the following day, since it was sort of like end of day of that first session. But I'll go ahead and ask, as you guys are bedding down for the night, you are in the tavern that you're in is a Road Wardens Guild tavern and inn, so you're actually able to stay there free of charge. It does cut your pay while you stay there, is effectively like they get paid by the government to offer room and board to Road Wardens, so you guys no longer need to pay for your stay here. Nor do you need to pay for any of your meals, or as long as you don't go overboard, any of your drinks. And how are you guys feeling as you start to bed down for the night? You've just signed on to be road wardens. You've gotten a reward. There's now gold that you're going to be effectively receiving every day. It's going to be sort of like building up per days of service, and you can collect it in a lump sum at a Road Wardens Guild headquarters office. But we'll go ahead and start with Bear. How's Caius feeling as he's bedding down for the night?
Caius is feeling very, I would say he's happy he got to fight today, but at the same time, he's a little bummed he didn't get to take out the big one. That's the one that threw him through the gate. So he's a little, what's the word? It's a little bittersweet for him.
Yeah,
but
bittersweet, yeah.
with him signing on as a road warden, he is very much so looking forward to whatever challenges that come ahead.
This feels like a job that's tailor-made for Caius. Look, go fight monsters. That's your job.
Pretty much. So so while he's trying to like wipe the thought of him not being able to take out the big one, he's like pumping himself up in his room doing push-ups and stuff.
Cool. Like, doing your nightly routine.
Correct.
All right, hell yeah. How is Moggs feeling as they're bedding down for the night, Fen?
Moggs is in a pretty good place right now. She's found out that there are more magical cores to be had.
That's not just the one.
Yeah, as far as she knew, that was the only one that she had seen up until she detected the other one in the whatever it was. I forget the name.
So do I. I don't know what made it. Yeah, the Wumpus. I'll pull it up.
And she's in a much more luxurious environment than she's used to, and she's hanging out with Lumia, and yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. Also, I believe it was called a Lasheri. Is that correct? I think
sounds right.
It was a Lasheri flanked by a bunch of silver
Scavardies.
Cool. I'm the guy who made those, and I forgot. That's good. That's a common theme for me as a person. All right. Any other things that you want to add, Fen?
No, that's it so far.
Okay. Haru, how's Harvey feeling? I feel like I'm not like most interested to know how Harvey's feeling, but Harvey did come here for a reason and was not able to fulfill that reason.
Harvey's quite alarmed, to be honest.
Yeah.
That Tiravel's dead, and does plan on going back to talk to the guards to see if there's any follow-up.
Cool. Oh, I do actually have a piece of information for you guys. The guard captain, his name is Captain Thane. He's just a human man. He's not like some super special. He's just a guy. So if you want to go talk to Captain Thane again, he will probably welcome you, although you do gauge that Thane might have some amount of suspicion, as you were the only link to Tiravel here.
Right.
But outside of alarmed, how does Harvey feel about the prospect of working with the Road Wardens Association in addition to his previous organization?
I'm always open to helping more people.
Hell yeah. Cool. Okay. Jinxie, how's Lumia feeling?
I would say that Lumia's probably feeling a little bit shaken up. She had a rough day. It was a rough battle.
The ice ball hit her in the head real hard.
Oh yeah, coming that close to death, one does not simply stand up and not reassess one's life and priorities, but I think she's probably feeling even more determined now to kind of see her quest through to completion. I imagine she's probably really happy to be in a nice cozy inn and is probably looking to escape into one of her favorite forbidden romance novels before she falls asleep.
All right. Hell yeah. Well, with that being said, those of you who are staying in the tavern, in whatever rooms and order that you decide to stay in there's really no limit, but I will say the tavern is very small, so it's quite possible that maybe one or two of you would have to share a room in order for you guys to actually be able to stay there collectively. I am going to go ahead and DM somebody real quick.
By the way,
oh lordy,
looking at Jinx's session is still on the snowfield.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Session? Why is it on the snowfield? Here, I'll drag you over here real quick.
Thanks.
Good shrug.
Bam.
Nice.
All right, cool. Let me go ahead and do this. Hey, Lumia, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Could you tell me what your passive perception score is?
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, it's 10.
10? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Wait, is that
Okay.
right?
So your passive perception is going to be 10 plus whatever your total bonus is to your perception skill. So it'll be under the same things as
Okay.
like acrobatics and athletics and all that other kind of stuff.
Cool, then it's definitely 10 because I don't have a
10?
bonus.
Cool. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna tell this from your perspective, and then we're gonna tell this from the other party's perspective. Let me just make sure that everything is going right.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I love this part.
Secret talkies where I
Exactly.
dude, being a DM is the best because I get to do this type of shit all the time.
Jesus.
This doesn't fill me with a sense of foreboding at all.
A sense of foreboding. I imagined it would fill you with a sense of joy. No, that is fair. If you'd like, I can like just here. Hold on.
No. It's all good. I'm excited for the surprise.
Cool. In the middle of the night, Lumio, you are awoken by your door flinging open, and Moggs standing there like a small, like, I don't know, like a raccoon with a trash can over their head kind of deal, but it's your armor they have in their hands, and they're exclaiming like, I did it! And they're holding it over their head. Fen, if you want to take over from there.
Louis, boss. I did it.
Moggs,
You've been awoken in the middle of the night. It is like
And-
4 hours of sleep.
Scamper straight over and basically just like launches onto the bed and like flops it onto you.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing?
I did it. I made your armor better.
What? Why? First of all, why are you awake? Second of all, why do you have my armor?
Made it better.
Oh my
look.
god.
See this right here, and she's like showing you the inside, and you can see that the monster core is now lodged into the interior of your armor.
Oh
that she
my
had pulled out
god.
of the-
Yeah, there's no need for Lumia to make any type of check here or anything like that. You're looking at this. You have probably once or twice, because of how big of a country that you did live in and how many adventurers were there, you've probably seen magical armor before. As crude as it is, this is a +1 suit of armor now.
I am feeling conflicted because while this is a wonderful gesture and surely improves upon the quality of my armor, this armor was a gift from one of the finest artisans in my hometown before I set off to come here. So I find myself grinning and trying to be polite and saying thank you to Moggs.
I will put out there mechanically before we continue the roleplay. Fen wanted to know if he could use this +1 rune that he received as either a weapon rune or an armor rune. I intended for it to be a weapon rune, and I told him if he could roll, what was it, like an 18 or higher on a d20, he could use it as an armor rune. He rolled a natural 20 to use it as an armor rune. The difference in cost, the weapon rune is a 300 gold item. The armor rune is a 1,000 gold item.
Whoa.
So Moggs, she has effectively has increased the value of your armor by 1,000 gold.
And Moggs is just beaming up a storm, is practically vibrating. It's like, I wasn't sure if I could do it, but I figured it out.
That is very, very kind of you, Moggs, and I appreciate you thinking of me. And I now wish for you to crawl into bed and go to sleep.
Okay. And then
So Moggs goes to bed.
crawls into the covers with you.
I think for a moment about casting sleep on Moggs, but I think better of it because I think that they may actually listen to me and go to bed. I do cast a very adoring look at the armor because I do think it is very sweet that Moggs thought of me, even if they did disturb my sleep and didn't honestly ask for my permission to do it. I do still find it endearing.
Mark, your armor is a +1 suit of the same type of armor. Whatever armor you had before, it is now +1. Also, just to make sure that everybody's aware of how these types of enchantments are going to work, if you acquire a rune stone at a later point in time, and then you acquire a better suit of armor that you want to put the +1 enchantment on, you can use the rune stone to effectively suck up the enchantment into the rune stone, and then shatter the rune stone upon the second suit of armor to move it. So you're not locked into having this piece of armor as the +1 suit. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's cool. That makes perfect sense.
Awesome. The night goes without any other interruptions. Also, this will not interrupt your rest, so neither of you are at risk of suffering exhaustion. I'll go ahead and say that maybe Harvey, you like blink awake for a moment as you hear some commotion in the other room, but manage to get back to sleep quite easily.
Moggs probably tries your patience just a little bit with the occasional, like, as drifting off, you're like, are you sure you liked it?
Yes, Moggs, go back to sleep.
Okay. So you're happy then?
Moggs?
Okay.
The night goes
Glad you're
mostly uninterrupted.
Cast sleep. Just kidding. We're not casting sleep. We're not casting sleep.
The next day, the sun rises in the very densely clouded sky, and you guys all come to wake up. As you do so, you'll sort of don your armor, head downstairs, get a bite to eat if you so desire, and be able to talk about what you want to do for the day. Now, you may have been told previously by the guard captain that there is a bounty board. The bounty board is open to all adventurers, but road wardens are sort of like a priority number one. So you're more than welcome to go take a look at the bounty board, but I know that each of you have individual things that you want to do. So we'll give you guys an opportunity to talk amongst yourselves over breakfast and hash out a plan. We'll go ahead and say that almost certainly, each of you will arrive at different times, but for the purposes of roleplay, I'm going to say that you all arrive at the same time.
Actually, Caius is already gone in the morning.
Caius maybe didn't even leave a note, but the barkeep lets everybody else know, like, hey, your big friend, he went out already.
He is out running laps around the town.
The guards that fought with you before, there's only a handful of guards in the town because this is a very small town, so there's maybe like 10 guards total, and they're all like on watch right now, and a couple of the guards that fought with you against the Lasheri are actually like cheering you on as you come around for a lap, and they're like, that one was 5 minutes, try it again, try faster.
Actually, I'm specifically grabbing the two who were not doing great last time, and I'm having them run with me.
Oh my god. Go ahead and make your choice of intimidation or persuasion checks. If you use intimidation, you're allowed to use your strength instead of your charisma to add a bonus.
It's always intimidation.
Okay, so are you proficient in intimidation?
Yes.
Okay, so take a +2 and then your strength score and add that to whatever this is.
Hang on, let me get to my sheet real quick. Right now, that I have a +6 to it.
+6, all right. Let her rip.
Where'd that dice go?
Oh god.
Wow.
Okay.
Imagine.
So I'll go ahead and say that one of them is definitely like you can tell that he's like, I do want to improve my physical fitness. The reason why I fucked up last time isn't because I was being lazy, it was because I'm just not strong enough, and he agrees to come with you. He does sort of like, he takes his armor off as he sprints the laps with you, because sprinting with the full armor on would genuinely give him, like, he would pass out. But the other one, you can't find him. You can't find the second guard.
He ran as soon as I came out. He knew I was coming. He knew I was coming.
But that first one, yeah, he does sprint around laps with you, and he's having trouble keeping up with you, straight up.
Every time I come by him, I like kind of nudge him a bit more, like when I'm behind him. Like, keep moving. You need to do better than
sort of
winning.
like in a jog, sweat. It's freezing cold, and he is effectively in like a short sleeve tunic, and despite that, he's covered in sweat. He's sort of like pushes his hair out of his eyes, and he's like, I'm trying. I promise. It's been a long time since I've had to run like this. Whew.
Then whoever's training you is failing if it's been a long time since you've ran.
It's not. It's just we do training.
If you have time to talk, you have time to run. Keep going.
Okay, I'll shut up now. And he keeps sprinting with it. I'm gonna make an athletics check for him and just see like how well he does. You know, he
does pretty damn good.
He does pretty good. He maybe after however long it is that you're going, they will like go alongside you. But if you go for, I'd say, longer than like 30 or 45 minutes, they will like slow down. They will start to power walk effectively, and not because they want to, but because their legs are starting to give out. And so you'll be able to lap them and the whole 9 yards. But while this is happening, while Caius is sort of doing laps, we'll say that you're winding down with your morning routine as the other three sort of converge. So you'll join them shortly if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Harvey, Lumia, and Moggs, the three of you come down for breakfast. You do see that Caius is not there, but he will be joining you shortly. What do you do?
What's for breakfast?
It's a good question. Probably, if I had to take a guess, some type of fish-related thing, because the majority of what they have here is fish.
I want breakfast fish.
Breakfast fish.
Gambit
They'll
goes
probably
over to a table and stands on a chair excitedly.
they'll probably have some sort of like barley or grain sort of porridge as well, maybe with a bit of butter. You could ask for salt or sugar depending on what it is that you would like. But they're very simple, not very extravagant here. So you can expect the same fare pretty much every day. They don't have a lot. They've got some goat's milk and goat's cheese. They've got some barley and sort of like grains, some very rudimentary stuff. So they could make breads if they wanted to fire up the oven, but they have not done that this morning because it does cost fuel, which they can otherwise use to heat themselves and make sure that they are warm. So they're trying to burn the fire low and slow rather than, fast and hot. And if you ever wanted any fish jerkies or fillets or anything of that nature, they do have that in abundance. This is a fishing village. So yeah, we'll go ahead and say that each of you gets some porridge, and you see that the tavern keep sort of like stands over your table and it's like, well, I know that it is the morning, but if there is anything in particular that you're looking for, we do have a couple of juices that we're trying to use them up before they go bad, a little bit of apple juice and things of that nature, so I can bring that out to you as well.
Yes.
Wonderful. And he sort of turns to Harvey and Lumina. Is like, and for you two, will you have any drinks to go with your porridge?
I'm good with water.
I'm also very water, thank you.
Beautiful. And
I'll take their juices.
All right. I don't have a problem with that. It helps use it up. You actually see that he has a glass of the juice behind the counter that he's working at. He brings 2 glasses of water and 3 glasses of juice. Sets them on the table. And then leaves the 3 of you to discuss what you would like to do for the day. There's not very many other people here. It is really just you guys. So.
So, I suppose we are all cast together now. I don't know much about you, Harvey. So, what's your deal? How did you wind up in Hinst?
I was here to meet a work associate, and there was an issue.
And what kind of work do you do?
I work with people. I help people.
I cast
I'm
a knowing
going-
glance at Moggs.
I'm going to prompt this, and this is something that you can ask me for in the future as well. If you would like to make an insight check, Lumia, that is the check to determine whether or not somebody is telling the truth.
Ooh.
There are other things that insight is used for. You can use insight to try and size someone up before you start a fight. You can use insight to just kind of like determine if they're hiding something, if they're lying by omission. But insight is basically your perceptiveness for people, for other creatures as they are speaking to you. If you want to make an insight check against Harvey, you absolutely may. And Harvey, Haru, just so that way I can put this out there, you are never obligated to tell anyone anything. Even on a natural 20, but I do ask that you give them a little bit of something if they roll high enough for you to feel confident in telling them something. Is that okay?
Yes.
Cool. I always leave it in the player's hands.
Well, I would like to cast guidance, and then I would like to do an insight check.
Harvey, you see very explicitly. You've seen this type of magic before. It is some type of divine spellcasting. They cast it upon themselves before they give you a scrutinizing gaze. Go ahead, roll that d20 plus a d4 for me.
Moggs
Okay.
is just completely caught up in the food and is not paying any mind to either of them at the moment.
I imagine. Oh fuck!
All
I
right.
thought you said you cured me. I thought you said you
I
healed me of my
thought I
curse.
did.
spell.
I'm. You know what? Never trust a word I say. I guess.
Oh.
What's your bonus to insight?
It doesn't matter.
It's actually 2, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter.
So that's
Still got the D4.
I know natural 1 is an automatic failure, but I just want to know for shits and giggles. Go ahead and roll the d4 because that's 3, and then the d4 could be the difference maker here. So 6, it doubled your roll.
Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie, guidance on an insight check against another player is kind of crazy
It's,
for real.
Like the second thing you said to me. I don't trust this
valid.
motherfucker.
It's
I don't
so
trust
valid.
you.
It was entirely because I prompted them. But in the future, if you guys want to make insight checks, I do ask before any check is rolled that you sort of like check with me to see if it's okay to do it. And then if I say, yeah, sure, go ahead, then feel free to. But Lumia, as far as you are concerned, there is like a 50-50 shot that Harvey is saying that they deal with people and helping people in that they are genuinely just kind of like a jack of all trades, like they just help people, or that they help people in an illegal way that you can't really infer appropriately. You don't know. They're either like, oh, you know, I work with people, where it's like they're just a helper. They're basically they're an adventurer. They're like a part-time adventurer kind of deal. Or it's like, oh yeah, no, I help people.
I'm a pharmacist, man.
Like
I know I said
it's
that Moggs is engaged with her food, but would this be something where Harvey would roll against my passive insight?
so for player versus player sort of deal, it is always like whoever is being rolled against is allowed to say whether or not anyone else succeeds against them. I know that's a little gamey, but
You both can roll against me now,
yeah,
and I won't roll. How about that?
hell yeah. It would be whatever your passive
Yeah.
deception would be, which is like 10 or passive.
I'm not
persuasion in
lying.
this- Yeah, in persuasion in this case. Normally, if someone's insight checking someone else, it's deception. But in this case, it would be 10 plus your persuasion.
Told a lie yet?
I don't know that, and I don't know you.
Well, my passive insight is 14. I don't think I'd make an active roll, but
Okay, yeah, 14. Do you think that Moggs might pick up on anything, Harvey?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Cool,
just
cool,
eating them.
Maybe you
Maybe you
pour
need
a
more
glass
juice.
of the juice into your porridge or something.
Mixing the two, seeing what it's like. I've got enough juice to spare.
We'll say it's around this point in time, Caius, that you step in, effectively drenched in sweat. You've just been sprinting for like an hour outside, and you see the other three. And the barkeep sort of spots you as you walk in, and kind of like says to you, it's like, I've got your porridge ready if you'd like it now.
Bridge, what is this?
It's a poor town.
I mean, well, yeah, I want you to understand where I come from. There's not too much of like fridge. We kind of just cook things over an open fire. What is this?
He
What
sort
does
of,
it do?
Slides the porridge onto the table where there's another chair, and he goes, "It's barley grain. You cook it with a little bit of milk, and would you like salt or sugar? It's just, try it."
As Caius approaches the like, is it like a bar almost, like a countertop?
Well, you guys, I'll say that you
Or
guys
we had
are
like a
at
table.
yeah, you're at like a circular table.
Okay, so if that's the case,
Like a four top.
Yeah.
he's gonna like come and take a seat at the table and like pick up the bowl and look at it and everything. He's just palming it. He's just staring at it. And then, is there a spoon?
Yeah.
Is there like a utensil?
It's mushy, but if you prefer soup, you can put some juice in it.
What? What do you?
It's mushy, but if you prefer soup, you can put some juice in it.
You see there are
I'm-
two other glasses of juice on the table.
Would Caius know that kobolds talk normally?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
There are probably like maybe not that many kobolds either in your tribe or other tribes surrounding you, but maybe one or two.
You were there when I was
Okay.
talking yesterday.
That is also true, but it's still kind of like it's not something he sees all the time.
Caius be
So-
like, "Are you people?"
He's gonna look at Moggs and then look back at the porridge, and then we'll follow suit with putting juice into the porridge and tasting it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. They're both animals.
I look
It's
on in
like-
abject horror.
The thing is it's probably not that bad. It's just not that good either. Like, it's fine. It will fill your stomach. It's got calories.
I don't think the porridge was probably very good in the first place.
Nah, it's very bland. He offers butter, sugar, I believe some either butter and sugar or cheese and salt, depending on what you want to do with the porridge.
Caius is not quite enamored with the porridge, and then like he turns to Moggs and says, "You weren't wrong, little blue lizard. This is quite great. I don't know your names."
Little blue lizard.
I was gonna squint at Caius a little bit. Wasn't your hair on fire before?
Yes, it was on fire, but
Why do you
Is-
still have it then?
She raises a
Caius is
valid
like-
question.
Caius is Caius takes a moment before putting the bowl back down, and he just looks at you and says, "Well, it only happens when like I get very angry, and right now I'm not in that state. So please, it's okay. If it's still I know normally fire does quite some damage to hair, but no, I'm quite different. It's part of it's the same reason why your skin is blue, I guess." Does that make sense?
Born this way.
Exactly. I was born this way.
What, on fire or not?
Oh God.
I don't know the details of how I came out. I'm not going to lie to you, but I promise you, I can control it. Does that answer your question?
For now.
Caius then turns to Lumia and goes, "You really know how to take a hit. I'm surprised you're even still standing today."
I grimace
Like-
and say, "Thanks, I guess."
What do you mean you guess? That is absolutely a triumph. Not too many people can live to see another day with that
Saved
kind
a
of
lot of
beating.
people.
Oh. Well, all in a day's work, I guess. Good job beating up lizard people.
Exactly. We can go do it more if you want to.
I prefer to avoid battles unless absolutely necessary, but sure, sometime.
Caius's
Hopefully not
eyes Caius's eyes like narrow when you say avoid battle. It's like a visible reaction he has when you say that.
I'm a little uncomfortable by this man's seeming like lust for violence. It does not bode well for me feeling super comfortable traveling with him, so I'm going to keep my eye on him.
Okay.
Anyway. Oh, Harvey. How long have you been here, you sly devil, you?
Caius, I've been here the whole time,
Really?
and what you're eating is disgusting.
Have you tried it?
I can smell it.
Have you tried it? The stunning silence answers the question. So here, try it. He takes juice and pours it in your porridge.
No! And thus the third glass of juice is deposited into a third bowl of barley porridge.
Can I do a sleight of hand check to swap my bowl with Lumia's?
Sure! I'll go ahead and say this is probably like, I don't know. It's not going to be a high DC. Just go ahead and roll it.
I have a +7.
Yeah, that does it. Lumia, in what I can only describe as like more instantaneous than you had imagined bowls of mostly liquid mush could be, like moving to where you would imagine they would spill, but they don't somehow. Harvey gently pushes their bowl slightly further away from where the juice is about to be poured and snatches your bowl in its place. The juice is fully sort of like, I don't imagine Caius was being gentle with it. It's probably just like like one of those sorts of deals. It is fully saturated with juice, after which point, Harvey, you now have 2 bowls of porridge in front of you, one filled with juice and one that is completely fine. Do you want to push the juice bowl back over to Lumia?
Yes.
Yeah, push the bowl back
Absolutely
over.
diabolical. I accidentally take a spoonful of juice porridge mush into my mouth and spit it out immediately on the floor. Because what the fuck is this?
Is it good?
No, it's disgusting. And I don't trust Harvey, so I'm glaring in his direction because he's the person nearest me.
Anyways, what's the deal with you and the tiny lizard? Why are you here?
I'm Mox.
Hi, Moggs. I'm
Oh
Harvey.
my.
Yeah, she does have a name. One we should probably start using.
I don't know
can't-
if we've gotten to that yet.
Guys is just like looking back and forth as he's continuing to eat this porridge.
Well, now that you know her name, please see that you use it. I can't speak for Moggs and her journey thus far, but I met her after I left one of my caravans on my way into Henston. We traveled here together.
Very nice. Are you here for anything in particular? Or just
Oh.
being road wardens?
Just helping people.
Ooh, I feel like that was targeted.
I'll offer Harvey the same thing that I offered to Lumia if they want to make an insight check.
I'm gonna believe Lumia. I'm just gonna assume she's being catty.
Okay. The barkeep sort of comes over, sees the 3 bowls of porridge with juice in them, kind of like squints and looks at all of you and goes, "If I know the porridge is not very good for the tongue, if you'd like, I can get you some fillets of cod or something."
See, that yes. Please.
Sure. Is just pan-seared? Is that okay for you?
What? No, fire. Like, is it cooked on a fire? It's cooked on a fire, right?
He sort of like thinks for a moment. He's like, "Yes."
Yeah, that.
I just want
want
you
that.
to drop it on the coals.
It
I know.
He is very clearly like, it has been a while since adventurers have been through here, and so he hears you say that. He's like, he thinks for a moment, stutters through a couple of like beginnings of words, and then stops and goes, "Okay."
You should have seen him try to cook on the ship.
Oh no.
I know.
Did he Did he
No.
light an open flame on the wood or something?
Oh, he would try.
They wouldn't let me back in.
I don't imagine. Would they?
Back in the ship, did you have to swim?
No. No, we didn't have to swim. We rode on the ship. What?
But he wasn't allowed down under without supervision afterwards.
Oh, inside the ship. Oh.
Yes. Mugs, what's your story? Like, what
I'm from
brought
the
you
coast.
here? From the coast?
Yeah.
Like, coast of what?
Here?
So you're from Erendividus then?
That's where we are?
I would hope you know.
Then
I
yeah.
sailed here across the seas. Yes?
Lumi, is that where the coast was?
Welcome to Conversations with Moggs. You'll fit in just fine.
So
This
are
is
you
all
like
the time?
Are you like her owner?
I wouldn't go that far. I don't actually know her that well, but she seems nice enough.
Yeah, I beg to differ. The way she ripped that core out of that beast without even giving anyone else a chance who actually rightfully killed it. I don't know how well she leads.
Who did rightfully kill it? I forgot.
It was those two heroic guards.
Oh, that's right.
So actually,
the main protagonists.
Harvey would be aware that from where Caius seems to be from, that whoever deals the finishing blow is the one who has the rightful kill, but according to the laws of Erendipitous, whoever contributes to the death of a monster has an equal share as everyone else, which has actually caused a lot of like disputes where someone will basically like shoot one arrow and then not contribute for the rest of the fight and take as much of a share as the like people who have fully killed the creature. Generally speaking, unless stated otherwise, unless agreed upon by other parties, either before or after a monster is slain, the standard is equal shares. So wherever they're from is clearly not Erendipitous.
Caius, where are you from?
Caius fell asleep.
Oh, I apologize. I was muted.
That's okay.
I had a coughing fit for a second. I'm
I think
sorry.
he mentioned a boat.
Oh, so
Are you from Boat,
no,
Caius?
Harvey, we rode on the same boat. What are you talking about?
I'm just humoring Moggs.
But you know what? I might not know the social norms of this land, but I'm not stupid.
No, I don't mean I'm not making fun of you. I just find Moggs fascinating.
Thank you.
Right.
Harvey, I'd like for you to make for me a survival or history check of your choice.
I have a heart attack.
You
All right,
have a
let's
heart
do
attack?
this survival check, and I was like, oh man. 16 plus. Let's do what? History or survival?
Yeah.
Let's do history +1.
So 17? Cool. You, in the conversation that you're having with Caius about, like, where's Caius from? You actually start to mentally kind of like go back in your mind of the ship that picked you up in Philly, then making a stop in Pilltop, and then going over to Henst, came from somewhere. And you did have conversations with other crew members, or at least overheard conversations with other crew members about where they were from. The ship came from Karanak. It came from the Warring Continent. And as far as you understand it, it traveled from the the western end of Karanak down the southern tip and then all the way to Erendipitous. So it passed by Theowin, which is the continent known for being like a super dense jungle land and kind of uninhabitable. It passed by the Dramalian Empire, which is known far and wide as being like the most powerful country in the world. and then it also passed by Arlen Way, which is known for being the magical continent. Sort of like magical casters are. It's a magocracy. If you can't cast magic, you are acquitted to a lower status of living.
It's Black Clover.
Basically. But those are the 3 countries that they passed by before they came to Arendipidus. So as far as you're aware, it's one of those 3 that they would have to be from.
Okay.
And you, Haru, could probably put the pieces together as to which of those 3 is most likely if you were to speak to them more. Because Feowyn... Yeah, the magocracy is probably not that likely, but there are known to be tribal societies in the Dramalian Empire, as well as there are very, very, very densely populated tribal societies in Feowyn.
Okay. So did I get an answer from Caius?
No.
Oh, you was like a silent?
Well, yeah, because I was muted.
oh, okay.
But to answer your question, yes, I sailed here from Fail.
That's very far.
Yeah.
Are you on some sort of quest?
I would call it more so a personal quest where I'm honest, to be fair with you, I'm just here to encounter this land's monsters to at least bolster my own strength even further than what I could back in Fail, and that is the only reason why I left my tribe.
Okay.
Interesting.
Did your tribe go on fire too?
I would no, I would which kind of like how would I say it? I wasn't exactly approached too often in the tribe because I was the only one who went on fire.
Oh, it's a shame. That's very cool.
I think so too. You know what? You Moggs was your name, right?
Yeah, I'm Mox.
Maybe you're not so bad after all.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, now that we're all nice and chummy, shall we away? Shall we figure out what we should be doing today?
Oh, absolutely. There's a bunch of boards out. There's a board outside. There's a bunch of like monsters people would need like bounties for. Would you like to take one?
Oh.
I thought we were gonna have another board on the ship.
That's what I thought too. I thought we were
I was gonna be like, no.
If that bounty board wasn't out there, probably. But he's much more interested in monsters on that bounty board than breaking boards.
The barkeep comes over with a charcuterie board, and the first thing that Caius does is grabs it, tosses all the food off of it, and breaks it with his head.
I'll allow it.
Caius wins again.
The way that you're just like, again.
Also, barkeep, I don't know, what is his name?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know why I wanted to call him Olaf for some reason.
You could call him Ivan.
Ivan? God.
I think he says his name is Barkeep.
His name is are you sure about that, Mom?
Yeah, it's just a weird coincidence.
Barkeep? If he answers to that.
Listen, my name is Ekel Korny. You can just call me Ekel if you would like.
Damn, I was way off.
Same.
Ekel?
Close enough. Yes, Ekel.
Right. Are we allowed to take anything from that bounty board?
Yes, you are, in fact. As far as I am aware, you are allowed to take whatever you would like from the bounty board, but we recommend that you only take one at a time, or at least try to tackle one at a time. You can, of course, nobody is going to stop you from taking more. As far as I know, there's only really 3 active bounties that are on the board right now, one of which I would actually be very grateful for you to do. There's been some silver skivarti causing problems on the roads leading to Zalon. And actually, Lumia, as you're hearing that, you remember that some of the monsters that were the most common that your caravan would come across were silver skivarti. They are in great number on the roads leading to Zalon. And so the barkeep mentions it, and he's like, if you were to clear up the roads leading to Zalom, it would actually make shipments of food and supplies a lot easier to get here.
Is that
What
what
are the other
people
ones?
normally do? Is get board quests?
Are you asking me?
Sure.
I mean, we haven't had very many road wardens up here. There's not much of a reason for them to come here unless, they feel like being charitable to the far northern lands. But when they were here, yes, they would take bounty board quests and collect the gold from them.
Is that what you do?
No. I serve apple juice porridge.
And
You
very
should-
good it is.
You should make that a staple. I promise you, it'll do numbers. Isn't that right, Lumia?
Ugh. I stand up from my chair and start on my way out to the board.
Wait, have you already decided what we're doing? I think we should take more than one.
I give no response. I keep
You
walking.
go out to the board, Lumia. I'm assuming that those of you who are at the table either finish scarfing down whatever food you have remaining, or maybe spend a couple of moments to do so, followed by following them. But if there's anything else that you guys would like to do, let me know.
Caius goes to the barkeep and asks one more time, or one more thing. That drink you gave me last night, am I able to take some with me, a pouch or something?
He thinks for a moment, and he goes,
I forgot what you said it was. It was whiskey?
he pauses and he's like, hold on a moment. I actually have this. An adventurer left this here some time ago, and I never had the opportunity to give it back to him because I'm fairly certain that he died. He pulls out a flask, looks like a metal flask, with the top open. He's like, what I gave you was rum. We do have a large amount of it. If you'd like, I can fill this small flask up for you and give it to you.
Please do.
Of course. He fills it full of rum and hands it to you. It is like heavy proof rum. It's not like it's like it's probably like 50% alcohol per volume. Maybe
Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe 45 to 55%. Like it's some heavy
It's
stuff.
going to jail liquor.
It's like it's blackout liquor. It's like wild turkey. You're not.
Is that what he was having last night and was fine?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Honestly.
But it's a flask that would be enough to fill, I would say, like an 8-ounce glass. It's not like a huge flask, but it is sizable enough. So
Caius has got to smoke that thing.
yeah, so you can add you can add a flask of rum to your inventory sheet.
Go ahead and do that now.
So I'm assuming Harvey and I followed after Lumia while Caius was going to the bar.
Sure. Yeah.
And on the way out there, Mons will turn to Harvey and ask, what's it like to fly?
I'm gonna pull up one of my sleeves and show that I have arms instead of wings.
Are underneath, like under your cloak and your sleeves, isn't that also where your dagger or your rapier is as well?
Yes.
Cool. So you see they have arms and a weapon.
Arms and arms, if you will.
Oh shit.
Bars.
Bars.
Moggs isn't quite sure what that is supposed to be, and it's just like,
I don't have wings. I can't fly.
oh. Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah. That's okay.
I wish I could fly.
I do too sometimes.
Well, you're on
High five.
luck.
And I do the down low too slow.
Oh.
That sounds so sad.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Holy shit. I'm gonna go ahead and say, Lumia, you do arrive at the bounty board. It's a little ways away. You got to go past the gate in order to get to the bounty board. The bounty board is actually at the steward's house. The steward, for context, is the sort of like the equivalent of a baron from Karanak. Barons being sort of like the presider over a town or a city. Stewards here are largely for the independent and colonist settlements. They are representatives for the town. They're basically the mayor, the governor, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
But the steward here, they use their home as like an office as well as a home. They basically have like an entryway that people are allowed to knock at in order to come in, that serves as a office in front for all of their affairs. And then they have a secondary area which is locked off from the general public that they use for their home. But the bounty board is just outside their office. So you gotta walk. It's actually the building that Caius like tumbled into when they were barreled through. That is the steward's office. And so you have to go towards where the gate is. You see that some of the guards are actually in the process of putting the gate back up and sort of sealing the place back in. You see the guard captain is not there. Presumably, especially Harvey, as you go out there with Lumia, you're assuming that they're investigating Terraville's death. So if you were to go in that direction, you would probably find the guard captain. But once you arrive at the bounty board, you see that there are not a lot of bounties up here. There are not that many people to begin with to put bounties up here. There's a couple of things where it's like, help me, rudimentary jobs that are meant to be anyone can take these, civilians can take these, where it's like, help us move things on the dock. It pays like 5 gold. Or maybe even less than that, maybe like a gold a day sort of deal, where they're just odd jobs and stuff of that nature. But there are 3 that stand out to you as noteworthy. I'm going to go from top to bottom, and I'm going to give them all to you, and then I'll let you guys sort of decide what you want to do. The first one that you see is the Troll Menace. A reward of 120 gold pieces will be given to the party who either slays or evicts the recent troll menace residing to the southeast upon the shore, 1 day's travel from hence. As trolls are both weak to and afraid of flames, I will happily provide aspiring parties with a pot of lamp oil, provided that they accept the task. The signature at the bottom of this is from one Bohum Groheim, with a title afterwards stating that they are the owner of the Whistle and Wagon. You know this to be the name of the general store in town. As far as you're aware, this is one of the men that ran into the store while the Lasheri was attacking. The next one you see is Scavardi attacks growing more consistent. A reward of 100 gold pieces will be granted to any party who completes the following task. Destroy the Scavardi den to the south of Henst. Their attacks have been growing more frequent, and they accost wary and undefended travelers on their way to other towns and cities. We can also give a partial reward of 20 gold pieces to the party who locates but does not destroy the Scavardi nest. The party who destroys the Scavardi nest is also able to claim the finder's fee, but we humbly ask that you donate any meat you scavenge or other food you find there, as the Scavardi have been exclusively stealing food where available, and it is causing our supplies to dwindle. This is written by, as you see the title at the bottom, the Steward of Henst, Agrippa Morani. You know the stewards to be the given location's representative in the Council of Nations, as well as simple heads of governance and people to go to for complaints or requests. And the last one that you see, I'll say that this might strike any of you as strange. The title is Help Me Name a God. The text is written by someone who is clearly not used to writing. It is very sort of like rudimentary and scratchy. There's a couple of words that have been scribbled out, but the text reads, "There's a giant fish who says that he's a god outside of my fishing hut. It's only half a day west of Henst, and I need help naming the fish god. It keeps asking for a name, and it doesn't like the ones I've given it. I've tried Michael, Gilbert, Barbara, Christina, George, Eric, Rosa, Norman, Tim, Timothy, Timond, Eric, Bob, Robert, Eric, and Feldemund. It destroyed my boat. I'll give you extra gold if you help me build a new boat. You see the reward is 30 gold pieces or 60 if you help him build his boat."
Who's the quest giver?
It's just says Gil. Gil.
I would like to turn to the group and what quest do you think the it's the Scavardi one.
The one that says Scavardi attacks growing more consistent.
The barkeep wants us to do.
You're more than welcome to do all these quests if you want. I do have them, like, this is me, Bell, the DM speaking. I have them all ready if you want to do any of these or all of them.
I'm open to the last two, but I'm not super keen on helping the general store owner because he barricaded the shop and wouldn't let people in during the attack.
It's true.
Ice finally approaches and says, "Did you guys pick one yet? What are we killing?"
You take a swig from rum. Just
Exactly.
Like, yeah, what are we doing? It's also, I'll put this out there. You guys are more than welcome to, like, take a job without telling the person who posted the job and go and investigate it for yourself. So you could take the job, the Troll Menace, and not collect the pot of lamp oil and just go and see what's going on with the trolls. Because what the quest is telling you is that there are trolls that are causing problems to the southeast. But what you can go there and like learn for yourself to see if there's more to the story.
Right.
Well, I vote that we either take the bounty for the troll or the Scavardi, since we already have a member of our party keyed up and primed for violence.
I wouldn't just say it's not just violence; it's just a test of strength. Please,
Violence. Yes.
Fine. Call it what you want.
Mox, what do you think?
I agree, boss.
Well, it seems we have a majority.
And
That was easy enough.
Wait, we're doing both. We're doing both of them. He gets excited.
Let's choose one
He's
to
like-
start.
Right.
That's
I
fair, 'cause
wasn't.
we'll come back to turn it in anyway.
I wasn't quite here for the description.
You can, there are like little slips of paper that have the TLDR version of the quest where it's like the trolls are here. It's 120 gold. You can get lamp oil. Just get them to leave or kill them. And you can take the smaller version of the slip, which there are more than a dozen. So you can take a couple of them, like one for each of the quests, and then just take them with you and decide what you want to do.
Okay. So I know with Caius, he's immediately going to say he wants to do the troll because since we've already encountered the Scavardi, he wants to see something else as well.
Yeah, I'll also go ahead and say you probably know about trolls. They're pretty dangerous.
I know. He knows.
I don't like how excited he's getting.
As long as
Don't
the big
wor-
burly one is in the front, I'm fine.
Don't worry. Trolls are notoriously fearful of fire. I'm the perfect. Am I not the perfect one?
That's true.
You have a point. Before we leave, I would like to locate the guard captain. I have some matters I'd like to discuss with him.
Yeah, how much more is there to the city beyond what we saw on the snow map?
So I'll go ahead and give you the key locations that are here. The Salted Scavardi is the tavern and the inn that you guys have been staying in. The Whistle and Wagon is the general store. The Everflowing Fountain is a very particular location. It, as far as you're aware, is actually part of what makes Henst function. It is a magical fountain that was crafted by an artisan from Arlen Way, which is the magical sort of the magic country. It has never-ending warm water. It never runs dry, and it is constantly warm. So they use it to sort of pull water for baths and to help, kickstart their pots of stew and stuff of that nature. It is a genuinely phenomenal thing to have in the town, and it is in fact so warm in this crisp air of Henst that steam is constantly rising from it. There is a rule specifically saying that people are forbidden to taint the water in any way, so if you were to touch it with your skin, you could get in big trouble. And then there's also the steward's home and the bounty board, and then the law house. Those are pretty much the only locations in this place that are of note, aside from the docks.
Is that clearly written somewhere?
Yes, it is all around the fountain. There are signs that are saying like, "Do not touch the water of the fountain. Do not taint the water of the fountain with any form of external thing, or you will permanently taint the water."
In big common.
Yes. It's actually not just in common. It's in like common and dwarvish and elvish and gnomish and halfling and goblin and draconic and
Just see
like
the-
every language they can get it in.
You just see the gears turning in Mog's.
It is made to be as explicit as possible.
Got it. Well, if Harvey is going to be doing something with the guard, I think Moggs would be wanting to do a quick, like, a walk around and investigate.
Okay. You want to sort of ping detect magic around the town?
Yeah, I'd ritual cast it and then meander.
Okay. What would Lumia like to do?
You know, I think now that I see everyone dispersing, I might actually head back to the inn to talk to the innkeeper.
Okay, absolutely. And Caius, is there anything in particular you want to do, or do you want to tag along with somebody?
In particular, no, not exactly. He's just kind of waiting at the front of the gates, just ready. I don't even know if we're leaving today, but he's like waiting at the gates.
It's early morning, so you can probably spend, honestly, a couple hours here before you have to set out. None of these places are close enough to where you would be able to arrive there. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I think one of them is close enough to arrive there today. Let me actually look. So I had it written here. So the trolls are 1 day's travel, so you will need to spend a full day getting there. And by the time you arrive, it will be nighttime, so you'll need to bed down. The fish quest is half a day, so you could get there today if you left. And then the Scavardi, it's just said that they're somewhere south of Henst, so you will need to look for them, which may take you potentially several days.
I'm so interested in the fish quest.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Then I guess if with that knowledge, I guess Caius is gonna go back to the inn to go like basically making his way back to go get like his cloak and everything because he did go out and train. He this whole time he has been shirtless.
Okay, cool. So just as because you guys just happen to be going to the same place, you'll be traveling with Lumia back to the inn. What we'll go ahead and do is we will start with Harvey, then we'll cut to Moggs, then we'll cut to Lumia and Caius. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Before we start, I need to ask Bear a question real quick. Can Caius read?
Yes.
Okay. I don't mean that in like a negative way.
No,
I mean in the like if I need to pass you like a hidden note or something, like you're gonna be like, what is this?
Yes. Caius can read. It's more so if it actually interests him or not.
I mean, Caius might still be like, what is this?
Yeah, he would still do that.
Okay. So Harvey goes out looking for Captain Thane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. As you sort of expected, Tiravel's home has been cordoned off. You actually see there's a couple of like, there's some wooden stakes that have been embedded into the snow surrounding his home with some ropes that are tied. You actually see that there's a rudimentary sign that has been hung up with very hastily scrawled on paint. Basically says like, do not enter, guard business, and you see the captain is speaking with a couple of guards, and you actually see there someone who you don't recognize. It looks like a half-orc woman who's speaking with Captain Thane, and as you approach the scene, you actually see Thane sort of like give this half-orcish woman a sort of nod, and she walks off into the distance as Thane approaches you. You see that he does not have his helmet on, but he does have his armor. He still has his weapons and things of that nature. He looks like a guy who likes to be ready for things, which is why he was ready to just like bust out of the guard quarters and like fight the moment that the monster showed up, which actually happened to be a huge benefit to you guys. But he approaches you, he sees you, and he's like, well, hello. It's a pleasure to see you again, my friend. Harvey, correct?
Yes. It's nice to see you, Captain Thane. I was coming by to see if you'd had any updates.
Well, aside from very, meager investigation into Tiravel's home, discovering that the murder was quite recent, and finding a resting place for Tiravel. There frankly hasn't been much else. We are digging his grave now. As it stands, we don't really have the manpower or the know-how to further this investigation. There seems to be a well-trained individual who covered the tracks quite well. We saw tracks leading out of the window of the home, one of which we presumed to be your tracks, which, as incriminating as that may be, he sort of like pauses for a moment, seems to be reading your expression.
The open window is better than a busted door in a crime scene.
He nods. He's like, I understand. With this being as it is, I may have to ask for another favor from you at some point. It does not have to be immediate, but you are newly minted road wardens, you and your new companions, correct?
Yes.
It might be presumptuous of me to assume this, but once the snow dies down, would you be willing to travel to Swarvel to request additional aid and potentially some investigative assistance regarding this? He sort of like holds up the piece of parchment that you had given him previously of the dagger that you like replicated for him. He holds it up and he's like, we don't know who this dagger could belong to, but it's clearly marked and it's very unique. And if we were to discover who it belonged to, or to what sect of people that it belonged to, that might further our investigation. None of us have any idea. There's only 100 people that live here, 150, thereabout, including the guards. We've asked, it doesn't take very long to ask everybody in town. Nobody knows. If you were to take this to Swarvel, there might be somebody there who could figure out who this dagger belonged to.
I would be open to that. Definitely.
He nods.
Is it safe to say that you guards know everybody in town?
You see that like the captain is there, and at this point maybe like one of the guards that was also with him is sort of like around with like within earshot, and that guard sort of turns and nods and he's like, oh yeah, it's actually quite easy. We've got it's not necessarily like a first name basis, but everybody really knows everybody in a small town like this. See the captain sort of turns and shakes his head. He's like, yeah, sounds about right. Sorry, their accents are blending together.
I'd like to ask who that half orc woman was.
Oh, well, that's Agrippa Moroni, the steward. She's how do I put this? She's a harsh woman, but she knows what's best for the town. When it comes to matters of importance like this, a murder in a town as small as ours, she ought to know.
That's very understandable. I believe my party is currently accepting a quest, a series of quests.
From the bounty board.
Yes, we should be heading toward Zalem, and I can definitely look into another day or two of travel to get down to Swarvel.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there just so that way you guys know. The size of Serendipitous, I do not have a reference for size on that map.
Oh, I just because it looked like the same amount of distance. I thought it had a legend on it.
No, it has a key for like mountains, forests, swamps, and deserts and stuff of that nature. But the amount of time it would take you to travel from Henst to Zalem is about 2 weeks.
Oh, my fault.
The quests that you guys would be accepting would basically be like the immediate area surrounding Henst. None of them will take you even close. Like, it will take you maybe a third of the way to the river.
Right.
That is directly south of Henst. Now, that being said, you actually see the guard captain sort of like smiles, and he, assuming instead of saying like add a couple extra days, you say like add a week or two of travel to get there. And he sort of holds up in hand and says, like, there's likely no need for that. And the reason I asked if you were willing to do so when the snow let up is because we are building a caravan as of right now. We've got the supplies required to do so, and once we set that caravan out to Zolom, they will most likely board a ship in order to get to the southern edge, or the northern edge of this continent, and get to Swarvel on the other end of the mountain range. As you might imagine, that sort of intermediary mountain range there could cause some problems for travel to Swarvel by land. But
I've heard it's treacherous.
very much so. If you could get the caravan to Zolom, they could acquire more people to get the rest of the way to Swarvel, and you would be off the hook. But if you wanted to carry them all the way to Swarvel, there will be monetary gain for you. I'm not so foolish as to assume that you would do this out of the goodness of your heart, or that anyone would for that matter. There will be coin.
Do you have an estimate as to when the caravan would be ready?
He sort of thinks for a moment. He's like, the caravan could be ready within the next 3 days, perhaps? As to whether or not the snow will let up in that time is to be determined. But if it does, within 3 days, it could be ready to go.
Can I do a nature check to see if I can kind of
Gauge the weather, like
the weather?
Yeah, for sure. Either nature or survival, your choice.
Let's do nature.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
both terrible.
God damn it.
6. I have no idea.
It's just hard to tell. It's been snowing, not like fully nonstop since you got here. You've only been here for a day, so it's hard to gauge. If you had been here for longer, I would say even on a 6, you might be able to gauge it.
Yep,
But
still snowing.
yeah, it's snowing.
Right on. I will definitely bring that up to the party and see if they would be interested in going when the snow lets up, or going early with in place of the caravan.
He nods. He goes, that'd be much appreciated. There's many people here who have actually accepted the call to be road wardens alongside yourselves, so most of what the caravan would be doing would be ensuring that the road wardens get to where they need to go, which is to say, the central land. Surrounding Swarvel has been, I mean, as you heard yesterday, Swarvel recently came under attack. A third of the city was destroyed, so there are a lot of refugees that need aid in the surrounding area. So if we could get more road wardens down there, it would be all the better.
Do you mind if I ask you one more question?
I don't mind at all. Ask away.
What do you know about a fisherman named Gil?
Oh, Gil? He kind of like... He you know that like cross between a wince and a cringe that someone does? He
Yeah.
kind of does that, and he goes like, Gil is he's an eccentric man. He lives maybe about half a day's journey from here. He's a fisher. We buy fish from him every once in a while. He does good work as a fisherman, but he lives on his own and in the lands of Serendipitous. While that's not particularly wise, you need to be a certain kind of person to survive on your own for so long, and Gil is that kind of person.
He has a
If you-
quest on the bounty board about some fish god that needs a name, and it piques my interest.
He pinches the bridge of his nose and he goes, there's... Yes. I have heard of this quest before. There've been a couple of townsfolk that have, wanted to take the quest. But, with how dangerous the roads are, it's probably not a good idea for anyone who's unarmed or ill-equipped to travel even a half-day's journey. If you would like to set Gil's fears of a fish god to rest, I would be grateful. Gil is not a bad man. He's just a little troubled.
I'm certainly open to paying him a visit. It'll have to depend on the party and the direction that everybody would like to go.
Of course. If you have an opportunity to help Gil, I'm sure he will reward you in whatever way he can. I see there's a monetary reward there, but Gil is a generous man. He would, I'll be honest, he'll probably set you away with A lot of fish jerky, if I had to take a guess.
I do like fish jerky.
It's not bad. Kind of like a nods, and he's like, you get a taste for it when it's really, one of the only things that you can eat.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all the information. We should be back to town in about probably a week at the most.
All right.
If there's anything.
He thinks for a moment. He goes, Would you be able to get back to me before you leave for your quests as to whether or not your party has affirmed or denied the willingness to join the caravan? Because if you affirm, the caravan will wait for you.
Okay. Yes, I will definitely do that.
Thank you.
Better yet, I want to make use of my magical scribing. And I would like to just write down caravan on it and hand that to him.
Okay.
I'll be like, you check that. And if caravan vanishes for tonight, we will go.
He looks down at it, looks back up at you, and he goes, magic, I assume.
Yes.
He nods. He goes, all right. I'm very unfamiliar with magic, but if this word disappears, I will take your word for it that is an acceptance.
Just saving us both time.
He is a lay person. As far as you're aware, the sort of like divine magic that he can do, you're pretty certain even he doesn't know how that magic works. He just knows that it does. And so he affirms with you, he nods, he puts that piece of paper away in like a back pocket of his trousers. He says, if you'll excuse me, we're going to go ahead and move to Ravel's body now, get it to its final resting place. Thank you. And safe travels.
Thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.
He sort of like tilts his head and he's like, yeah, nice. Yeah, sure. I suppose it could be nice. And then walks back into Tiravel's house. Beautiful. So where's Harvey going to go after that before we cut over to Monks?
Well, that's basically. Well, how long did that take? About, you think?
I'd say maybe like the travel there followed by the conversation, maybe 15 minutes.
Oh shit. I'm probably gonna go try to find and or wrangle Caius.
Okay. Sure. We'll go ahead and we'll bookmark that for now to determine where Caius and Lumia are after their thing. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and cut to Moggs. Moggs, you have now finished a ritual casting of Detect Magic and have popped up. I assume you didn't really give a shit where you were casting it, so you just kind of sat down wherever you were and started casting.
Yeah, probably right in front of the bounty board.
Yeah, may actually be directly in front of the bounty board. So about like 7 or 8 minutes in, a half-orc woman walks past you, stops, and turns to look at you and kind of just stands there for the remaining 2 minutes of your casting time and stares at you.
I'm focusing, but am I even aware until I finish?
You're aware of your surround. It's not like you don't go like sensory deprived when you start casting.
Yep.
If you actively like physically do something else while you're doing a ritual spell, that will interrupt the casting. But you could potentially speak, rudimentarily with someone around you before getting back to the casting. You can look up at people and things of that nature. So you at least see her.
I am aware of her presence.
Cool. After that 2 minutes elapses, you, I'm assuming, spring up to your feet.
Yep.
The first thing that you recognize is this woman has a magical presence on her.
What am I sensing?
It is, we'll go ahead and say it is evocation magic. It's hard to pin down specifically where it is on her person. It looks like something under her coat. she's wearing sort of like a long coat with some fur around the collar. You can tell that she's wearing some type of armor as well. She looks like an armed woman.
Do I have a sense of if it is a magic item or if it is like a enchantment that she has cast of some sort, or?
It's hard to tell. You can tell the school of magic, but if it's on a person, generally speaking, it's difficult to pinpoint like more details outside of school of magic.
I guess I'll go. Oh, you're glowing.
Her arms have been crossed this whole time. She sees you look to her and say that, and she nods. She goes, "So I've heard."
Why?
People have complimented me on my glowing personality.
No, I mean, why are you glowing?
She squints, looks down, sees if she's glowing, looks back up at you, and you recognize that she clocks that you've cast Detect Magic, which is not normal for a layperson to know what you've cast, to understand the nature of the spell that you've cast. And then she goes, "Ah." She moves her coat aside, and you can see what looks like a longsword there. That when she moves the coat, you immediately become aware the longsword is magical. She gestures to it and she goes, "It's my sword, I assume."
Ooh, shiny. I like it.
She sort of like looks up at you, looks back down at the sword, and she goes, "I don't have much use for it.
Oh, I'll take it then.
300 gold.
What about it?
You give me 300 gold and I'll give you the sword."
Oh, I thought you were going to give me 300 gold.
She shakes her head.
No, thank you.
All right. Puts her coat, lets her coat fall back down and continues just looking at you.
Okay. And then
You
Muggs will start
skip
walking away.
Okay, cool. Muggs, you walk in whatever direction your heart sees fit, and I'll be frank with you, the one cast of Detect Magic will probably be sufficient for you to get through the whole town.
Mhm.
If not, it's easy enough for you to recast it. But you go around the town. The first thing you obviously noticed was the half-orc woman that you met. She had a magical weapon on her. When you go past Tiravel's home, you don't know that it's Tiravel's home, but you, Fen, know that it's Tiravel's home. You walk past it and you recognize there's some sort of magical presence that is walking around the home, and as the guard captain comes into sight, you can see that he is the person who is displaying the magical presence. It is coming from the flail that is on his belt.
You have a shiny flail, too.
He sort of pauses and goes like, oh, good lord, you scared me.
Oh. I'm Muggs.
Yes, hello, Moggs. We met before. Are you just, what are you doing by chance? You just meandering around?
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of nods and he's like, all right, well, be careful. There is a murderer on the loose. You know that, right?
Is it me?
He immediately kind of like squints. He goes, I don't think so.
Oh, good.
What do you think?
Not that I recall, unless he does killing the beast count?
He shakes his head. He's like, no, I don't think it counts.
Then no, not since I got here.
He nods. He's like, all right. Well, you take care, Muggs. He turns back to the investigation. Do you continue on, or do you want to like press him to know what the flail is?
I think right now Moggs is more interested in taking stock, so she'll continue on. She's got the mental note.
Gotcha. You come to the docks. There's nothing pointedly magical about the docks. You circle around the docks and get, towards where The general store is, once you come to the general store, there is very obviously a magical presence coming from the general store, but it isn't very pronounced. It's a type of magic that you've probably borne witness to before, the magic of alchemy. There are presumably some sort of potions that are on the inside of the general store.
And she'll wander in.
Yeah, you sort of step inside. When you do, there's a bell that sort of ding 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 at the top of the door, and you see that there's a halfling man that's behind the counter that sort of like steps around and goes, "Oh, hello, welcome to." Sorry, this is me, the DM, speaking. I need to find the name of the fucking place. Oh my god, I had it written down. I promise. There we go. Yeah, you see this. The halfling man sort of steps out from behind the counter and goes, "Hello, welcome to the Whistle and Wagon. My name's Fimple. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you, Pimple.
All right. What can I do you for?"
Well, I'm just looking around. And then I'll start trying to figure out where I'm getting the sense from.
Yeah, so you look around. First and foremost, you notice there is almost every type of adventuring gear equipment you could ask for here. I know Moggs isn't particularly interested in it, but you do at least clock. There's ropes, pittons, hammers, backpacks, bedrolls, sleeping tents, the whole 9 yards. There's torches, lantern oil, all that kind of stuff, lanterns themselves. But where the magic is coming from is behind the counter. You see that there is a shelf that is sort of like elevated so that it's very clearly in line of sight. You see 5 potions there, and they are all clearly labeled. Three
If it's
of them
elevated, can I see them?
Yeah, I'll say they're not like elevated to the point where they're completely out of view. They're elevated like they're on display. But you see there 3 of them are labeled as healing potions. One of them is labeled as a potion of giant strength, and one of them is labeled as a potion of animal friendship. You can also see the prices. The healing potions are 50 gold a pop, the potion of giant strength is 150 gold, and the potion of animal friendship is 200 gold. They are clearly their biggest ticket items here. Everything else is pittance in comparison.
Oh, I like your potions.
He turns to see the potions, looks back at you, and he goes, "Oh, I appreciate that. Boham will be very pleased to know that his patrons appreciate the potions."
Who?
Boham is the owner of the Whistle and Wagon. I'm just an employee.
Oh. Do you make the potions?
Oh, Boham? No, he traded for them. The caravan came through here a couple months back.
Can I have one?
I mean, if you'd like to buy one, I could definitely.
No, I don't want to buy one.
So, but if you Fen, would know this man's brain is starting to like smoke when you say that. And he goes like, what do you mean? I can't. You don't want to buy one?
Mm-mm.
But you want one?
Yeah.
But how are you going to get it if you don't buy it?
I mean, you could give it to me.
He thinks for a moment. He's like, but I get in trouble.
Oh. Okay.
He looks back at the potions, looks back at you, and he goes, "Is there anything else that you'd like to look at?"
Well, can I do another look around the room?
Yeah, you see there's some weapons and armor. There is one suit of plate armor here that is the appropriate cost of plate armor, which is exorbitantly expensive. It's astronomically expensive. Hold on, this is for the other players as well. Let me pull up the cost of armors so that way you're all aware of how much this plate armor is. 1,500 gold.
Oh my god.
What the?
So the costs of armors, the best leather armor that you can purchase is studded leather. It's 45 gold. That will probably be an upgrade for Harvey at some point. The best medium armor that you can purchase is half plate, which is 750 gold. That may or may not potentially be upgrades for either Lumia or Caius at some point.
That's
and
my upgrade.
That's your upgrade, yeah, for sure. But then the best heavy armor that you can purchase is plate mail at 1,500 gold. It has a minimum strength requirement of 15 in order to wear it in the first place. It gives you disadvantage on all of your stealth checks, and it gives you the highest armor score in the game without enchantments.
Yeah, this is why when I saw that earlier, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So it's just that way everyone is like up to snuff on why it is that it's so expensive. Studded leather gives you 12 armor class at base plus your dexterity modifier, which in general is a maximum of 5. So 17 armor is the highest you can go without any additional stuff like enchantments or shields. Medium armor half plate is 15 plus your dex modifier with a maximum of 2, so it can go up to 17. But plate mail is 18 flat with no need for a dex modifier. It just gives you 18, which is the highest. So take that with a grain of salt. Now, I mean, Caius will be able to eventually get up to, if you put all of your ability score improvements into Dex and Constitution, Caius will be able to get up to 20 without wearing armor at all.
But oh wait, that's right. I did I decide to? I think I did decide to.
So for the sake of flavor, you're not wearing armor, but for the sake
Yeah.
of making sure your mechanics aren't shafted for it, you've got medium armor.
Okay, yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
So you're wearing medium.
Remember, for flavor, you guys can do whatever you want, but mechanically, if a thing would say it destroys your armor, in flavor, Caius has no armor to be destroyed, but in mechanics, Caius's armor is destroyed.
Yes.
Am I the only one wearing heavy armor?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Oh. Okay.
You've got a nice spread. You've got someone who pretty pointedly wants light armor. You've got someone who pointedly wants medium armor. You've got someone who pointedly wants heavy armor, and you even have someone who kind of wants no armor at all.
Valid.
So, is there anything else that Moggs would like to do in the general store?
I think Moggs will say, "Okay, well, I'm Moggs. I'm at the hotel tavern thing. So if you change your mind, you can find me there." And then Moggs will leave.
Oh, all right, bye. Have a nice day. You hardly hear it as you leave. And the last place that you come to as your detect magic is starting to fade is the fountain. The potential serious consequences place for the party. It is the ever-flowing fountain, as you can see on a sign directly in front of it. It is known for the billowing plume of smoke that constantly erupts from its surface, and it is forbidden to taint the water in any way. The water is safe to drink, so if you have an untainted container, you are allowed to sort of like dip a cup in and drink the water, or maybe like put the cup under the flowing water to get a drink. It's not as though you're like, if a finger touches the water, you're not going to get like attacked immediately, but it's this sort of idea where it's like, don't just put your face in the water and start drinking directly from your mouth. Like that is effectively the deal. So people put buckets in there and stuff like that. But you see the billowing plume of smoke is no lie. It is carrying pretty high up into the sky. Doesn't look like it dissipates quickly. This is some pretty hot water. Especially, it's a cool, crisp morning. You can see your own breath very easily. And as you approach the fountain, you actually see that the snow surrounding the fountain has melted. It's very pleasant. The type of magic is conjuration.
Where is that? Is it like embedded in the fountain? Is it underneath? Is it the entirety of the fountain?
There's a bit of magic in. So the way the fountain is, it's a circular fountain. There is water in a pool that is in the actual like the circular part of the fountain. Then there is a kind of nondescript pillar. It's very clearly supposed to be function over form. The fountain is just something that they wanted to put this magic into. So there's this sort of pillar that comes up from the center of that circle, where there is another small basin at the top where the water overflows from that basin and then flows down into the fountain underneath. The magic is in the pillar and in that topmost basin and underneath the bottommost basin.
There's a lot of magic going on there.
It's an incredibly magical thing. It's pretty bright in detect magic, I will say.
Mhm. Well, she is very fascinated by that. Could I use identify by touching the outside of it?
Sure, yeah. We'll go ahead and say you can absolutely do that.
I think since we didn't set a specific time, unless someone comes looking for her, I think she'll ritual cast identify.
Hell yeah. Let's go ahead and just do that now. We'll say that 10 minutes goes by, ritual casting identify. So the fountain, you get a sort of like a couple of pieces of information. The way that your identify spell works is sort of similar to the way that your magic works, where it just kind of does it. Like there's no rhyme or reason behind why you know this information. You just know if I do this and I say these words, and after 10 minutes I just know stuff about it. The first thing you learn is the fountain itself is actually non-magical. There is an implement in the fountain that is giving it its magic. It is a modified alchemy jug. An alchemy jug, as you are now aware, is a uncommon item. It's a ceramic jug that appears to be able to hold a gallon of liquid, weighs about 12 pounds, whether or not it's full or it's empty. If you move it around, it sloshes around, even if it's empty. You can use an action and uncork the jug to make a liquid come out of the jug. Afterwards, you can cork it to stop it from doing that. But once it starts producing a liquid, it can't produce a different one, and it can only produce a specific amount of that liquid until the next dawn. So the type of enchantment that is here is an enchantment that is enhancing the effects of the alchemy jug to make it to where there is no maximum, and it can continuously reproduce that type of liquid. And the liquid it has chosen is fresh water. It is hot fresh water. You gauge if the alchemy jug were removed from the fountain, it would be a normal alchemy jug, but while it is in the fountain, it is a special one that produces infinite water.
Am I able to gauge if I were to remove it and then put it back, would the enchantment resume, or is it once it's out that enchantment is gonna?
It would be one and done. Once it's out, you would need the original maker of the fountain to come back and fix it. Also, pointedly, the alchemy jug is in the fountain, as in you would need to smash the pillar to get the jug.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Is there anything Moggs would like to do?
Let's see. So we hit up all the locations. That was the last one on the list, right?
Mhm.
Forgetting anything?
Yeah.
No, I think at that point she'd probably head back to the tavern to start collecting her stuff and
prepping for the day. Cool. If that's the case, we're going to go ahead and cut to Caius and Lumia. It does not take you too very long at all to get back to the tavern. I will say, Lumia, you maybe cast a backwards glance and see Moggs starting to sit crisscross applesauce and cast a ritual spell, as you've seen them do many, many times before. But you and Caius march back over towards the tavern. You've got a moment just between the two of you if you want to exchange any words before you get there.
Caius kind of looks back at Moggs, back at where Moggs at the fountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
well, at this point, when you're walking, at this point, it would be there in front of Agrippa's house, the steward's house, is where they're casting detect magic at first.
Gotcha. So as I'm looking back and I'm just kind of walking, I'm gonna ask Lumia, are you sure it was a good idea to just let that one roll alone by themselves?
With Moggs, I can't be sure of anything, but she is a big girl and she should be able to be left on her own for at least a little while. A very little while.
Do you really believe that?
No,
You-
but
you
keep
saw- you
walking. Before I change my mind.
Oh, okay, if you say so. So, what brought you all the way out here? Because you really don't look like you're from around here at all.
What's that supposed to mean?
Uh, exactly the same the way I don't look like I'm from around here at all.
I suppose that's valid. I am here because I am looking for someone.
Mind if I ask who?
You're always free to ask.
I see what you did there. Fair enough.
Well, what
Fair
about
enough.
you? I mean, surely
That's
you're
a-
not here just to beat up monsters.
I mean, is there any other reason to be here? Think about it. A land that is known just riddled with beasts that keeps even the most seasoned of adventurers off the road at night. What better test of strength than going toe to toe with those? Besides, it's an accomplishment when showing such a feat of strength in my tribe. Why else wouldn't I do it?
Well, I can't really argue with that. If feats of strength are what you're after, you are certainly in the right place. But I'd be careful not to overdo it. As you said, the lands are pretty wild.
I've grown up in my share of wilds by all means. The place I'm from makes it, how would I say, it's not nearly as much snow, I would have to say, but dense jungles, forests, very treacherous terrain where I wouldn't recommend it going to for a leisurely visit if I would say so myself.
As they say, like dense jungles and forests and stuff of that nature, of the readings that you've done, there's only really 2 places in the entirety of Serendipitous that share even a remotely similar sort of like vibe to what they're describing, and that is the forests in the southern lands, directly between Dens and Skinner's Bay, the jungles of Dell and Dippenfonsk, and then the place directly surrounding Mordurem. Those are really the only 2 places that would, like... It's just kind of like a passive thought that Lumia has, where it's like, these would remind him of home.
Okay.
You immediately clocked that they have not read up on, like, anything about Serendipitous outside of there are monsters here. And so when you clock that, that's kind of when you have that momentary passive thought of these places would probably be right up their alley if the party were to go there.
Hey.
It's around this point you guys arrive at the tavern during your conversation.
All right. Well, I'm just going to excuse myself for a brief moment to speak to the innkeeper, and I'll catch up with you later.
Sure, I was heading to my room anyway to collect my things for when we head out.
Hell yeah.
If you, by all means, and if you do get the chance, please, I highly suggest you try the rum. It's quite amazing.
Perhaps later when we're not about to ride into battle.
Suit yourself. And he starts up the stairs.
He takes a swig of rum as he walks
Exactly.
upstairs. So you go to collect your things, Caius, leaving Lumia in a largely empty tavern. I'll say there's probably like a guard or 2 that are eating what you're not sure is either breakfast or lunch for them, as they may have had an early start because of the murder yesterday. But they're minding their own business in the corner of the tavern, leaving you with the barkeep largely, unfettered by anybody else. He sees you approach and he sort of like gestures with his chin to you and he says, "Hello."
Hello. I apologize to disturb you yet again. I do realize that we were just here, but I was wondering if I might ask you a question.
Of course, ask away. I am good at answering questions.
By any chance, have you heard of a person in this town named Agrippa Morani?
He immediately nods and he goes, "Yes, it is the steward."
Oh.
Her office is by the bounty board. She uses it as her home as well. She has very poor work-life balance.
I see. So has she been the steward here long?
As long as perhaps about perhaps 8 years ago, she became the steward, I'd say. I've been here a little longer than that. The steward before then, nothing really noteworthy. He kept the peace and, came and went. And Agrippa has done us well up here in Hens. We're not an easy place to steward, but they've done what they can.
I see. That's very helpful information. Is there anything else that you can tell me about them?
Let's see. He sort of sets down the mug that he was rinsing off, and sets, sort of slaps the towel that he had over his shoulder. You see, he's a relatively portly man with the apron on. It already looks dirty. He's done a bunch of cooking. He puts a hand to his chin. And he goes, They are a stickler for the rules. They don't like criminals, at all. They have exiled their fair share of criminals, I will say. The exile seems to be the first thing they go to. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but in a place as dangerous as this, you really, I'll be honest, if you steal anything in a place with 100 people, word gets around quickly. So, but aside from that, they're a little rough around the edges. They're not a super sociable person, as it were. They're hard to get to know. Maybe is a good way to put it. A little cold. I've only had a couple of interactions with them, and it was mostly to ensure that I still had permission to run the Salted Skivarti here.
See. Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate all of the information. That was immensely helpful.
Of course, you've got business with Agrippa.
You could say that.
He holds up his hands. He's like, I'm not going to pry. I just wish you luck.
Thanks. And with that, I think I would actually turn and begin to make my way out of the inn and back toward the steward's house where I just came
from. From the inn to the bounty board, back to the inn, back to the bounty board. Yes, you go back to the bounty board and the office as you've come to know it. I will say that this would probably you see the tail end of Moggs skipping away from Agrippa, and you actually see who you imagine is Agrippa, as there is a half-orc woman with a thick, long coat who steps into the office of the steward as you are approaching the building. You're maybe it's not that you're not within speaking distance. You're maybe 200 feet away when you see her step in. You see Moggs skip away. So you have enough time to approach the door and to enter or to knock.
It's so funny because I could just imagine Kai's coming back downstairs and she's gone and
Damn, that was quick.
Oh, okay. So I guess he's just hanging out at the tavern.
we can actually cut back to Caius in just a moment if you'd like.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Gotcha.
You're good. He's probably going to be arm wrestling whoever's there now.
I would love to have a moment for that at least.
Fair enough.
You approach Agrippa Morani's office. There's a stone part of the building, which is not opulent, but it's clearly built to last. And then there's a wood part of the building, which looks like it was tacked on, which strikes you as a little strange. But from what you learned, this is their office, and then the wood part is their home.
Ah, okay. Well, I think the first thing that I would do is knock politely on the door.
You knock, you get sort of 2 knocks through before the door swings open. You see that she still has her coat on. She is a oppressively sort of intimidating presence, I suppose. Not even directly intimidating like she's trying to be. Her resting face is a scowl. And she sees you uh, as if she was waiting for you at the door. You only got 2 knocks through before she opened the door. She hasn't even taken off her coat. It looks like she knew when you were walking in this direction that you would probably be coming. She immediately sizes you up. You see that she looks down to your boots, sees that you're wearing armor, looks up, sort of like clocks your face and sees your hair, and sort of like tilts her chin up, and she goes, "We haven't seen a celestial folk here in a long time."
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, come in. And she, at this point, doffs her coat, sets it on a coat hanger that is near the door. And this is a very small room. It looks like she does not have a great deal of like large scale business that happens here. It's mostly just like 1 or 2 people that come in. So there's maybe about 2 chairs. There is a desk. There is a shit ton of scrolls and books and bookshelves and things of that nature. It doesn't look like they're reading books. It looks like they're administrative books. It looks like things keeping track of finances, things keeping track of shipments coming in and out. She is a busy woman. But as she doffs her coat, you see that she's wearing a suit of leather armor, and she does have a longsword at her belt. She does take the belt off and set the longsword down on a wall before she reaches around the other end of the table, pushes out the chair, sits down, and gestures to a chair at the other end of the table and says, "Please sit."
Thank you. I'm sorry to disturb you. I realize this might seem kind of like a weird visit, but I was hoping if you had some time that I could ask you a few questions.
She takes a moment as you're speaking. It looks like she's paying attention for the first couple of seconds as you're speaking, and she doesn't stop paying attention, but she like starts to rustle with some papers, moves some things on her desk, and she puts on a pair of glasses. And she looks up at you. Her stern expression. This woman is cut as much as a woman, as much as you've seen half orcs. You've known them generally to. They're quite hardy folk. But she is like lithe, cut, and not very tall. Which it's not like, oh, that's weird, but half orcs are known for being relatively like super tall people. She has this sort of black, slicked back, short hair. Maybe you clockers being in her 40s, maybe mid 40s. Yeah, that's probably like the closest age that you can gauge. But she puts on these glasses and looks up at you, leans forward on the desk, and she goes, "Ask away."
Thank you. I guess I should start by introducing myself. My name is Lumia, and I traveled here recently from the state of Drissel. I'm here because I found your name, or I should say your name was found, on a slip of paper that was left with an orphaned child many years ago, and I'm trying to understand what connection, if any, you might have to them.
All right. She's listening intently, but you can immediately see a lack of recognition, at least in the moment, because she hasn't heard any details. But at this, she leans back in the chair and kind of like gestures outwards and says, "What more can you tell me? You say it was a slip of paper left with an orphan child."
Yes, it was one of only 2 belongings found with the child. The child was left outside of a convent of mourning in a very small town, with no further context or detail for where she came from. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot more detail other than that.
"Do you have a time of arrival?" She sort of puts a hand on her chin.
Oh,
An estimation is fine. Around about how long ago would this have been?
perhaps 24 years ago. Roughly.
She squints as you say 24 and then go roughly, and she goes, You see, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and roll an insight check for her. Jesus Christ. You see she immediately clocks that there is some type of recognition, as you say, around about 24 years ago, and she looks at you and gauges you as a roundabout a 24-year-old woman, and she goes, all right. And this slip of paper, my name was on it?
Yes.
She tilts her head. She goes, in Dressel, of all places. But she's deep in thought at this point. She sort of leans forward and she goes, you wouldn't happen to know who left the child there, would you? She's squinting as if like she knows she's reaching for straws here.
Unfortunately not.
I presume that may be why you're here.
Precisely.
He nods. I understand. It's not that I want to leave you with a full-fledged dead end. It's simply that the information is not enough. Would you happen to have a last name by chance? Or was a last name not given to you?
No. They arrived with no name.
And so it was given to you by the cloister, I presume.
Yes. I mean, them. They received it.
She doesn't, like, belittle you or anything of that nature for trying to, like, mask that it was you, and nor do you gauge that she's going to press the matter any further. But then she goes, as far as I know, there's only one man who would have done something like that. She has a rueful smile on her face as she says this.
Oh.
It's been some 10 years since I've seen him. And this would check out. I can't say for sure whether or not he's whether or not he's the child's parent or not. But if my name was left with an unnamed orphaned child on the steps of a cloister, there's only one man I can think of. He did not have a last name. He only went by Tally. Make a history check for me as you hear the name Tally.
A history check. Oh, I have a little bonus to that. I have 3. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Wait, that's a D20, right?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Don't
Do you want to
forget your
guidance this?
Oh, shoot. I just messed up my... Wait, what did we say? I just messed up my dice. I now have 2 of them. No, ignore that. Ignore that.
Here. Go ahead and roll a d20 plus a d4. Agrippa is not going to judge you for guidancing this.
Oh, yeah, I do want a guidance then. Yeah. Please. Do right by me.
Okay, so 13, and then guidance.
That's respectable.
Plus 4, so 17. Oh my god.
Ooh.
So I will let you know right now that the DC for this check was astronomically high. You would have realistically, you would have needed a 25 total in order to get this check.
Oh my god.
The name Tally does not immediately strike you as one that you recognize, nor one that you have heard offhand. Agrippa continues, and she says, I know very little about the man. He traveled light. He did not have very many friends or allies, for that matter. He tended to make enemies wherever he went. He has a silver tongue, and he knows how to be in the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time. Depends on your perspective. She continues after sort of... She thought she might need to use her glasses to read through documents or something. She thought that might be the type of question that you have. But now seeing that you're just asking her actual, like, personal questions about things that she might know offhandedly, she takes off the glasses and sort of sets them down on the table. They're very thin, wire frame glasses. And she goes, Tally's not the sort of man to tell people his plans. He's not the sort of man to inform anyone of the going-ons in his life, so I can't say whether or not this is his child. I can't say whether or not this is a friend of his, or an acquaintance, or perhaps if this is simply some orphan child he found. Tally sort of works like that. It's been 10 years since I saw him, but the last I knew, he was heading down to the southern continent to deal with the Dramalian Empire in some capacity. He says deal with, meaning to make deals with them, not to, like, to handle them. As in, he's going there to strike a bargain. In some capacity. She sort of, like, shakes her head and says, if I knew what deal he was seeking to make with them, I would be more than happy to tell you, but as I've said, Tally was not very forthcoming with his plans. I know you're looking for answers, and I hate to leave you with more questions.
No. This is certainly more information than I had before. I'm very grateful to you for being able to recall all of that for me.
When you say that, like, I'm grateful for you being able to recall all of that for me, make an insight check. Her expression changes. You can add guidance to this one, too. She's not gonna... Agrippa does not care.
Holy shit.
Let's go.
Holy fucking shit. Oh my god. All right, what's the total? So that's a natural 20 plus 2, so 22, and then what's your bonus to insight?
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Let me look. Please let me have... Please. Oh, 2.
2? Okay, 24. Jesus Christ. You say... Thank you. What was it specifically you said? Thank you for being able to recall that information? Something along those lines, right?
Yes.
You say that, and you see an expression on Agrippa's face that, Lumia, you're not like the world's most perceptive person, but you're not stupid. You can read expressions relatively well. You know people, generally speaking. You've been around the cloister your entire life. This is an expression you may have only ever seen a handful of times, maybe only once or twice. When you say that, Agrippa's face shifts to the expression of someone looking back fondly upon a memory. The expression of someone who is remembering intimacy in a very explicit way.
Oh.
Agrippa was, as far as Lumia is concerned, and you did roll a natural 20 on this, so as far as Jinxie is concerned, the reason why Agrippa remembers so much about Tally is because they were intimate together. And she says it has been 10 years since you're now like going back previously in the conversation. You remember Agrippa saying it's been some 10 years since I've seen him. She says that with a bit of bitterness.
Oh.
So whoever this Tally guy is, when she says he has a silver tongue and knows how to be in the right place at the right time, when she says it's been some 10 years since I've seen him, her expression effectively says like, how could I not remember him? It's this mix of like remembering him fondly and being upset with him.
I'm so tempted to dig at that, but I don't think that she would be very receptive because she seems very no nonsense, and I don't want to appear to be ungrateful for the information she was willing to give me.
this is the first time you see an expression on her face that is not no nonsense. This is like, you're absolutely right. She is a no nonsense person. You're picking up what I'm putting down as a DM, where it's like, if you were to press that question, she'd probably be like, why are you asking that? What the fuck do you want? But like, the fact that she is remembering this in the first place means it must, for someone like this, for someone like Agrippa, it must have been significant.
Oh, I do. I think I would like to ask her. So if you don't mind me asking, in what way did you know this Tally?
She thinks for a moment and she goes, well, I was very young then, perhaps just entering my adulthood when I met him. We were adventurers together way back when. He was not a road warden, but I was. And we went on a number of adventures throughout Erendipitus before we decided to part ways. And when we did part ways, it was amicable. There was no bad blood between us or anything of that nature, and I've only heard from him sparingly ever since. Again, it was 10 years ago, the last that I did speak with him. We were both young then, both young and stupid. We got ourselves into a handful of ventures that we perhaps weren't equipped to handle, but we managed to come out the other side unscathed.
I see.
I'm sure that you, Jinxie, can interpret correctly the words that I chose for Agrippa to say there.
I think so. I guess the last thing that I would probably maybe say is I would assume that if you did have this time together, that perhaps maybe he's not a wholly untoward person. It sounds like you had some good times.
She shakes her head and she goes, oh, he's a scoundrel.
Oh.
He's a terrible, terrible man. I mean this in the most genuine capacity. If you find him, can you give him a good right hook?
Oh. Well,
he deserves it.
I'll take your word for it. The odds of me finding him are probably pretty slim, but this information was helpful, and I will certainly do what I can.
You say that the odds of finding him are actually pretty slim, and she sort of like tilts her head and goes, well, knowing Tally, he'll be making a lot of noise. You might be surprised.
Oh, that's encouraging.
She nods and she goes, not how I would put it. But I'm glad at least that this information was able to help.
Yes. At this point, I think Lumia stands and reaches out her hand to shake Agrippa's hand.
She stands as well and shakes her hand. She says, it was a pleasure to meet you, Lumia.
Yes, and you. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that we will see you around. I shall take my leave now.
She nods as you step out the door. She walks you to the room's not big enough for her to like need to walk you to the door or anything, but she walks to the door as though she's going to close it behind you for you. And she sort of waves a hand as you depart, and she goes, if you need anything else from me, don't hesitate to knock. I am here most of the time.
Thank you.
She will close the door as you exit. How's Lumia feeling after that interaction with that insane nat 20 on like the one check that you wanted the nat 20 on to learn like why it is that she knows so much about Tally?
I think Lumia is feeling kind of like it's kind of a mixed bag. So I think she is encouraged and really kind of invigorated by the fact that she was able to get any information at all, because I think there for a minute she felt like it would be a really slim chance that she would learn anything. So the fact that she at least knows something is good. I do think that kind of hearing about someone that could potentially be linked to her parents or be a parent like hearing that they're not a great person kind of puts a pit in her stomach, but I think overall she's motivated to keep pulling at the thread.
Okay. That feeling that you have, that feeling of motivation to continue to sort of like, you've learned something and you are ready to learn more. You have another lead. You're able to follow this train of thought. That feeling that you have is almost immediately followed subsequently by a realization that you recognize is not entirely Lumia's realization. Something has recognized that you are pulling at a thread.
I'm
You
picking
do
up
not know
what you're
in
putting
what
down.
capacity that they have recognized it. You do not know whether or not they have recognized it in a negative or a positive way. But I will go ahead and simply say that you are being watched.
Oh. Okay. Feels scary.
So we'll go ahead and, for the briefest of moments, we'll cut back to Caius. Caius, before I set the scene for you, I want you to make an athletics check.
Gotcha.
Just preemptively. Make it with advantage. Roll another one. Take the higher result. All right, what's your bonus?
6.
So 6. Okay, 18. Really, really solid. We like imagine this as like a cinematic shot. We cut from this sort of like conversation with Lumia pulling at mysterious threads, trying to learn more about herself and about people that might be related to her. And we like cold cut to the complete demolishment of a table in the tavern as Caius doesn't just manage to win a game of arm wrestling, as you manage to fully send another human being through a table. With just one arm, that you manage to beat one of the guards, as there's like 3 or 4 other guards that are in the area that kind of just cheer. They don't really seem to care that you just destroyed a table. And you see that the tavern keep Eckel is behind the bar going like, oh my god.
It's okay, Barkeep. I can pay for another one.
He shakes his head and he's like, it is okay. You chose the most brittle table to use. I'll be honest, I was thinking of throwing it away anyways. Listen, it's fine. Don't worry about it. As you sort of like see that another guard is like, there's a very obviously stronger guard, like taller, bigger guard, who walks up to you and is like, it's my turn next. And he sits at a completely different table, and the barkeep goes, no more arm wrestling, not in the tavern, no more.
I had to, not too many people step up to Caius and be like, I want to go next. I'm excited for this. Are we gonna do this?
You see that the guard sees that Eckel is trying to like get you guys to not do this, but the guard, it's not as though the guard is trying to challenge you in any type of hostile way. It is very obviously a friendly challenge. He sees that the innkeep says no, but so then the guard turns and goes, where would you have us arm wrestle then? Where else is there to arm wrestle here? You see that the barkeep kind of like puts a hand on his forehead and like rubs it over the top of his head, and he's like, I don't know. Not here. And you see that the guard sort of looks up and goes, let's just try not to destroy the table, and holds out his hand on the table anyways.
I immediately like claps hands with him to get ready for it.
Oh yeah, so the way that this is going to work is this is going to be a staged contest, like a multi-stage contest. You will roll once, and the guard will roll once. So you are each at 0 points. If you win the check, you go up 1 point. If you lose a check, the guard goes up 1 point. If you have any points, you will lose points instead of the other one gaining. As soon as one of you is at 2 points, you win. So you're both at 0. It's basically, It's like a meter that goes like, once it ticks 2 in one direction, you'll win. The guard has a +2 to their athletics score.
Okay.
They rolled a natural 19 for 21.
Oh my god.
What's your bonus?
6.
6? Okay, so they are winning, but they haven't won. Here's the next one. God. Okay, so they rolled a total of 10. That's what you gotta beat.
So it's like right now, Caius is like close to
Close to losing. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So you need a 4 on the die, right? Oh yeah, easily. You put it straight back to equal. We've got the next check. Let's see. Okay, they rolled a 15, so not bad.
All right.
Oh yeah, Caius is winning. This is it. This is it. This might be the last one. Okay.
Oh
you
my
rolled a
God.
soft 20 on this.
Let's go.
You need a 14
And-
or higher to win. No.
Oh. How about
So
this?
natural ones are not double failures or anything like that.
Oh.
It's just a like now you're back to equal again.
Can I flavor this real quick?
Absolutely.
I go into a rage.
Okay. While you are raging, I believe you roll
Have
strength checks with
advantage.
advantage. Go ahead.
So his hair is like fully flared out on fire and everything now. He's just like
The
yelling
other
at the
guards
top
kind of like
his
step
well.
back a bit as this happens. So that is a 17. Okay, so that is still a failure, but not nearly as bad
Yeah.
of a failure as it was. So you're still back to equal, but now you'll be making every check with advantage. I'm not going to hold you to needing to like do damage to somebody to keep the rage going.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no.
This is fine. Okay, he rolled a 7. Would you like to roll again to see if you crit?
Yeah, just
I'll
just
say
in
if
case.
you crit, you win immediately. Okay, so
Good lord, these rolls.
you are winning again. So this will be, if you win, this is the last one. So you need to beat a 4.
Oh god, where am I going?
You need to not roll a natural 1 with advantage.
All right.
Imagine.
Imagine. Yeah, that
There
does
we
it
go.
easily. So it is not you. You know what? Is Caius being careful about the table?
He's raging, absolutely.
Second table. It is at this point that I will say, Lumia and Harvey, the two of you probably took around about the same amount of time. I'd say Moggs is still like investigating the fountain at this time, maybe casting Identify on the fountain. Harvey and Lumia, the two of you see each other as you're about ready to enter the tavern. You kind of like nod to the other as you step in, and wood splinters cast up straight into your guys' faces. You have to kind of like shield your eyes as you see Caius standing triumphantly, sort of like flexing and roaring with his hair billowing with flames as there is not one but 2 destroyed tables in the tavern. Ekel is behind the bar, taking a giant swig of rum.
I think I look over at Harvey and ask, does he do this all the time? Also, FYI, I think Harvey might be on a BRB.
Oh no.
Oh,
We can, you know what? This is actually a perfect opportunity for us to take a bit of a break. It's we're about 2.5 hours in. I would say this is a great time for us to stand up and stretch our legs.
Absolutely.
We will resume.
Caius actually just tossed like 5 gold from his pouch onto the barkeep to replace the tables.
to help replace it. Oh hell yeah! But
Yeah.
You know what? You do that, and the barkeep genuinely, you see that he like is about ready to take another swig of rum. You put that down, and then he sort of like looks up at you, and genuinely smiles, and then still takes a swig. He seems
Yeah.
grateful. He seems explicitly grateful.
Out of
Nice.
curiosity, how much would a table actually cost?
Oh yeah.
It's a good question. I wonder if anyone else has answered that question first. 5E, cost of a table. Wooden table price 5E. Long story short, I burned a table with a firebolt in a tavern, and I want to pay the tavern keeper back, but I have no clue how much it costs. Wow.
It's signed
Found this
Caius.
discussion with this exact topic. Okay, so this is on D&D Beyond.
Little do you know, it was me again.
Caius in another
And
font.
holy shit, someone has a great idea. Take an IKEA catalog and convert the prices of $1 to 1 copper. Okay, so IKEA table.
It's hilarious, dude.
Circular table. Okay. So one circular table. Looking at it here. Okay, yeah, that amount of gold would probably be good enough to replace the tables that he had. I'm actually seeing a roundabout equivalent. Like, there's some of them that are more expensive, but these are cheaper tables. 5 gold will probably be enough to cover both of the tables.
Nice.
in case that was important. That's really funny. I like that suggestion, though. That's actually a great idea in the case that that something comes up where it's like, ah, shit, I just destroyed a bunch of stuff. What do I do?
I knew he was going to break the table.
You did.
Oh my god! Of course I was.
He broke 2. He broke 2 tables.
2 of them.
I meant the second one.
You'll see.
Oh my gosh. So we're gonna go ahead and take a quick stretch break.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right back. So we left off with Harvey and Lumia stepping into the tavern as another table explodes. Of the 4 tables that are in the tavern, 2 of them are now splinters. So a couple of the guards start eating at the bar. The tavern keep starts to sweep up the splinters, and a couple of the guards help with taking some of them out. And it seems generally amicable. The arrangement has concluded positively as Caius has paid for the tables that he destroyed. Leaving you guys to kind of actually have a place to sit and rest as you discuss which of these you want to tackle first. When you do sit down, it hasn't been that long since breakfast, so there's not really much of a point in getting something else. It's around this point that Moggs will step into the tavern. Moggs, you see the remnants of a couple of splinters on the floor. They're being swept up by Echo right now, as well as your party in the back right corner of the tavern.
Are we breaking tables?
Not anymore. Not anymore. They were. No, they were more so a tragic. How would you say? Let's just say I caused a mild inconvenience.
Echo, still sweeping, kind of nods. Doesn't say anything, just nods.
But no mugs and no bad tables. Everything's fine.
Okay.
What have you been up to?
Well, just look around. You know that phone's magic.
Oh,
I'm not too well versed in magic, so I wouldn't know.
I haven't seen it yet, but I would have suspected, I think.
It's pretty hot.
Wait. Moggs, did you... I'm afraid to ask. Moggs, did you touch the water?
No.
Ugh. Think morning.
It says not to.
Yes, well, it's good to know that so long as a boundary is in print, you will respect it. We're learning more about each other every day.
Echo hears this and considers writing a sign that says no destroying tables. Just in case.
Is he looking at me?
No.
Okay.
He's not holding a grudge. Right?
Oh.
He's actually, he sweeps it up and then goes back to his normal duties.
Okay.
Presumably the caravan that you... Oh, Harvey, you actually will have to announce to the party about the caravan and stuff like that. But presumably once you guys are informed of the caravan, and if you decide to go with them, that caravan may return to Henst with the tables that he's trying to purchase. So, yeah, the 4 of you have convened now with additional information. You all have the bounty board slips, and you can sort of properly make an actual plan of action, as well as Harvey can disseminate the information about the caravan that he learned.
All right. So, have we figured out which way we're going in? As long as I get to test my strength again. These tables were clearly not enough, but please do tell.
I don't know which way we're going yet, but when I spoke to the captain of the guard, He asked if we would be open to possibly escorting a caravan to Swarvel, or to Zalom at least, because they're headed to Swarvel.
Look, I don't mind doing anything of that nature.
He
But
said it's
he-
very dangerous and there's lots of monsters on the road.
That's in
There you
the
go.
south, is it not?
It is to the south.
Oh.
You guys are also aware that you do not necessarily need to return the bounty slip to the town that you started the bounty in. Since you are road wardens, the government of each town gives an allowance to road warden guild halls so that you can redeem those types of things wherever you go. So if you were to go down south with the caravan, ask them to make camp for maybe a day or two while you hunt around for the Silver Scavardi nest, take care of that, and then bring proof of that to Zalom, you could redeem it there.
Okay.
And that's actually technically the same for every other quest that has that type of thing. It strikes you that the quest for Gil the fisherman is something that he would just pay you the time of. And the other one is being posted by a townsfolk member, so you might actually need to go back to them for that. If it's something personal like that, then you'll need to return. But this strikes you, the Scavardi nest strikes you as that's something Agrippa put there. They are a government official. You will be paid no matter where you go if you redeem that quest.
Okay.
Okay.
The other two, not so much.
Which one will have a big monster?
Are you talking about the troll mogs?
I do think that's the troll one.
That
Yes.
big?
I mean, from my knowledge of trolls, yes, they're pretty large. Yes,
I like that.
they're fun to. Caius runs over to Moggs and picks her up and is like, "Yes, you understand."
It's giving
I don't know what I
my brothers-
understand, but this is high.
Can I set Moggs on my shoulder?
Sure, I mean, if Moggs lets you.
Yeah, I'll stand on Gaius' shoulder.
Nice.
Requesting permission to board.
I am just like that. Moggs has become
Moggs is an ally now.
an ally. Yes, you understand, Moggs. The bigger they are, the harder they must fall. Right? You understand?
I suppose.
Great answer.
The bigger they are, the bigger the gem might be.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, the thing you tore out of the other beast.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that's mine though.
If you kill it, remember, keep what you kill. If you kill it, you can have it. If I kill it, I don't really have much of a thing for it, so I guess you can have it still.
Yeah, if I kill it, I have it. If you kill it, I have it. If they kill it, I have it.
That's if you sure, why not? Which way was the troll?
Let me pull it up. The troll is a day's travel southeast. It is on the shore.
That's perfect. I have business in the south. Harvey has business in the south. A brief detour to the shore shouldn't be too terribly hard if we want to fight the big troll.
Where Moggs is from.
Moggs is from the shore.
Ah.
You might get to see your tribe, Moggs.
So
We come from the southeast?
Yeah, to make sure that everybody is aware, Moggs is from explicitly the southwest.
Yeah,
past the
but
river.
Moggs only said they're from the coast.
Yeah, they're just from the coast.
Correct.
Oh. So all coaster Moggs. So
Yeah.
The southeast coast that you guys would be going to would be a little out of the way. You'd have
Ah.
so if you were to make a direct beeline to Zalom, you would be going southwest almost the entire time. To go southeast will probably add a couple of days, maybe a day and a half, 2 days of travel to your total journey.
Okay.
And that is assuming you want to beeline it to Zalom. This is also, like, the caravan's not going to be ready for 3 days. So you have time to go and do a quest or two and then come back. Because remember, the troll quest and the fisherman quest are quests you need to redeem in Hengst. The only one you can redeem in Zalom, or anywhere else for that matter, would be the Silver Scavardi Nest.
So if that's the case, the caravan's not even ready to start heading that way yet. But if we can go do this and then return, and then it should be ready, correct?
Yes. The caravan also said if we agreed to go, they would wait for us.
Oh, see, that makes things much easier then.
If you wanted to, you could do both of those quests. Come back.
I would like to remove the caravan text.
Okay. Somewhere, a man sitting in his office drinking a cup of coffee sees text fade from a page and goes, "What the fuck?" Oh.
Oh gosh. So, all right. So, are we in agreement of what we're doing first then?
Yeah.
Because you already know what I'm doing.
You guys going to fight some trolls?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Do you want to stop by the general store first to collect the lamp oil? The Troll Menace, the actual text is it's 120 gold pieces to either slay or evict the Troll Menace residing in the southeast upon the shore. It's a day's travel. As trolls are both weak to and afraid of fire, I will happily provide aspiring parties with a pot of lamp oil, provided that they accept the task. It is written by Bohem Groheim, owner of the Whistle and Wagon.
I mean, we would be a fool not to accept an additional tool. No rhyme intended.
Sure. So do you guys?
Kai's is not even paying attention about the lamp oil.
Do you guys want to go collectively to collect the lamp oil and then set out?
Yes.
Cool. So you make sure that you've got your packs ready, because presumably the moment you get the lamp oil, that's going to be like, all right, time to go. You go over to the Whistle and Wagon. Moggs is really the only person who's been inside before, but you see that it is a relatively, it's not like extravagant, but it's a bigger building than most of the other ones here. The door itself, there is a sign that is above the door that's kind of like hanging on some chains that says the Whistle and Wagon. And you can see the doors are clearly meant to be opened freely, so you step inside. You see what Mogg saw before, all manner of adventurers' supplies. There's ropes and pittons and hammers and armor and weapons and bows and arrows and all kinds of stuff that's through here. You also see the same potions that were seen before. 3 healing potions, 1 potion of animal friendship, and 1 potion of giant strength, which are 50, 200, and 150 gold respectively. And then you see also a halfling man that is behind the bar or not the bar, but like behind the
counter.
Yeah, the counter of the store. His head barely peeks over the counter, so the moment he hears the sort of dinging of the bell of someone coming in, he has to come around the counter. And so he hears it, he steps around and he goes, "Oh, welcome to the Whistle and Wagon. The Dungeon Master needs a moment to pull up my name. My name's Fimple. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance." "Oh, hello, Moggs. It's good to see you again."
Oh,
What can I do you find people for? His name is Fimple, Fimple.
So simple.
I'm sorry,
Fimple is
I'm
such a
what?
good game. He's such a good name, Fimple.
Thank you.
Guys,
My
is just
mum gave it to me. She said that I looked like a pimple when I came out. She didn't want to call me Pimple.
Oh.
So she called me Fimple.
good
oh,
lord.
it's not Pimple.
No, but it could have been if my mum was mean.
Huh.
Do you want me to stop calling you Pimple then?
He thinks for a moment, and then he goes like, "You could call me. I don't know that I mind, really. You could call me either Fimple or Pimple, I guess."
The Pimple.
Moggs.
All right.
I didn't mean to.
You'll have
Guys,
to
just-
excuse all of my friends here. We have actually come because we are accepting the bounty for the troll, and we have come to collect the lamp oil.
You hold up the bounty slip and he goes, "Ah, excellent. Well, if give me a moment, I'll go ahead and get you your jug of lamp oil." He sort of like goes behind the counter. You see that there is very obviously a trap door that sort of opens up behind the counter that allows him to step down to a storage area beneath the store. He spends maybe like a minute trying to get the lamp oil and leaves you guys up there. But after that minute elapses, he gets a what is to him a relatively heavy jug or sort of like carafe of lamp oil, but what to you guys would be relatively simple. It's easy enough to carry. It is a ceramic jug with what looks like a cork stopper in the top, probably about like half a gallon to a full gallon of lamp oil in this thing. It's pretty hefty, but easy enough for you to either put on the side of a pack or just stuff into the top of an adventurer's backpack and then to retrieve when you need it. You guess that this, if thrown and like, if you use this like a Molotov cocktail, it will cover a relatively wide area, more so than your standard alchemist's fire or anything of that nature. It's not necessarily designed to do damage, it's just designed to make fire, you know. So he sort of like hefts that up onto the countertop. He has to like reach his hands over his head in order to put it up there. He goes like, all right, well, it's one jug of lamp oil for the four of you. I appreciate you taking Mr. Boham's request. Those trolls have been giving him a right great headache.
While he was fetching that before he came back, I still on Caius's shoulder had like tapped him on the head and was like, "Don't break anything in here. They make you pay for it."
Right. Got it. I'll keep that in mind. He's like, Caius is all like rummaging through like the weapons and everything.
There's some decent stuff in here. There's a good like 2 or 3 like war axes, mostly swords. You see long swords, short swords, a great sword or 2 is here as well. You see a falchion, you see a flamberge as well. There's some like not like nice, well crafted stuff, but a variety of stuff. You kind of gauge he's probably like a caravan comes in with like some exotic equipment and he buys like 1 or 2 just to put in the store and just have. Maybe not even to explicitly sell, just to show off in the store. So you can see there's a bunch of stuff on the walls. There's also like the bargain bin, kind of like a bucket with just a shit ton of long swords and short swords in it that are not like in the greatest of repair. But the shopkeep sort of like gestures to the lamp oil. It's like, all right, well, do take care. Trolls are a very dangerous bunch as far as I've been made aware.
You wouldn't be wrong, but I've handled a few myself.
Well, it's wonderful. You're an expert then. A reward of 120 gold pieces will be waiting for your party once you return. I'll be more than happy to give that to you if Mr. Bohum is not present. Yeah, is there any questions you might have? I'm not really too privy to the details of what's going on with the trolls, but if there's any information I might be able to glean, I'd be happy to.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Fimble. We will be on our way, and we shall return once we have finished.
All right. Well, safe travels. He kind of like scoots back behind the counter.
Caius like palms the juggle.
Yeah, just go ahead and add.
He just palms it.
Yeah, to your inventory. I figured Kai's probably the best to carry it.
I was about to say, is anybody else wanting to carry this?
Not me.
But he's holding it like Andre the Giant holding like a can of Pepsi.
I will go ahead and say, for mechanical purposes, this will function as though it was a vial of alchemist's fire, except it will produce flame in a 5-foot radius around. Oh my god! That came from deep within. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I'm so
Jesus,
sorry.
dude.
That functions like a vial of alchemist's fire, except that it will create It will create fire in a 5 foot square, every 5 foot square around the target. So, like, if you target hold on, if Caius is targeted by fire, by this vial while he's right here, it will create fire on all of these tiles.
Oh, okay.
If a large creature, for instance, a troll, is targeted with it, it will create fire in this radius.
Oh.
It's proportionate to the target of the flame of the carafe of oil, effectively. So, yeah. With that in tow, would you guys like to set out?
Let's go.
Hell yeah. The gates open wide for you. The guards here know you at this point, so they sort of like wave to you as you set off, and one of them kind of calls down. The one that jogged with you before, Caius, calls out to you as you step up. It's like, when are you gonna be back?
Probably within the next day or two.
All right.
We'll probably be back with that.
We'll take care. I'd like to run with you again if I could before you leave for the caravan.
That's what I like to hear. When I get back, we're gonna run so much more.
He gives you a thumbs up as you leave. And when the gates close behind you, it becomes strikingly quiet. It wasn't noisy in the town before, but there was the sound of, someone chopping wood in the distance, the sound of sort of like the ships creaking in the harbor. There was perhaps the sound of a couple conversations going on, the crinkling of armor as the guards were walking to and from. But now that you've stepped out into the wilderness of Erendipitous, you feel the cold chill of the wind and hear the hollow sort of thrum of the wind through the trees. The trees are not thick enough here for this to technically be called a forest, but there are trees that surround this area. In a relatively dense capacity directly around the town, but as you go out further, it starts to become more like a plains with very sparse patches of maybe a couple of woods or something. But you check your... I'll go ahead and say also, you were given a map by, I don't know, Agrippa gave you a map, Lumia.
Okay, nice.
Now, I have a question. Would Caius know a little bit of like out here since he started out here?
You would know the immediate area, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, just the immediate area since we're first now stepping out the door.
So you know like a good place to start. You've been around the town like 10 times because you took a bunch of laps around it. It wasn't actually necessarily that you could even go all the way around the town. This is a port town, so the walls stop at the docks. So you needed to like turn around and then go back to back the way you came, and then it's basically like there's this big semicircle that you were taking back and forth, because otherwise you would just be straight up like dunking in the water. I mean, it'd be kind of funny, but maybe if you were doing a triathlon or something. But you know a good place to start. There's a very small clearing in the woods that goes on for maybe about half a mile that would be a good place to start, and so you can kind of lead the party to that location.
Yeah, so Caius is gonna take point as he's like leading forward. I don't know if Moggs wants to stay up here as we're moving forward.
So, quick question: is Caius's necklace magical, or is it just ornate?
It is.
The necklace on Caius's neck is not magical.
Okay.
Huh?
What do you mean, huh?
Oh. What?
Well.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind. I'm silly. My bad. Had a moment. No, it's not.
Okay, cool. So Moggs has been just kind of like monkeying around on your shoulders, kind of moving back and forth. And then at some point, like while we were wandering out, she goes, Okay, good. So it taps you on the head again, and it says, so if ever you're getting your impulses again, just tap your necklace.
Huh?
Yeah, just
Wait.
tap it.
Again, like he goes and taps his necklace.
And the necklace in Moggs's voice says, "You probably shouldn't break that if you don't own it."
Caius like pauses for a moment. He's like, well, what was that? What did
So-
you do to my necklace?
It's a reminder.
A reminder of what again?
So if you're getting heated,
So you're telling me not to?
yeah,
Is that what? Is that,
yeah, because
is that what?
like we're not supposed to break things if we don't own them.
I'm beaming up with Moggs with pride.
Dude, does Caius see this? Does he like look back at you? Like,
Yeah, I'd imagine that you guys are kind of like. I know that you're taking point in terms of you're leading the party, but it's a
Yeah.
lot more like you're traveling in a big clump.
okay.
And so anytime you or anyone else taps your necklace, it will say that phrase in Moggs's voice.
You know, fine. I'll keep it. I'll keep that in mind. We'll keep it in mind. But I can't. I cannot hold any promises that I will remember to tap this necklace.
You want me to put it on something else?
No, I would rather you not touch any of my belongings anymore, please.
Then Moggs will hop off.
All right.
So the four of you begin traveling towards the location that you were given on the quest to the Troll Menace. I am going to go ahead and ask the players, out of character, would you guys like to roleplay any part of sort of travel or making camp or anything of that nature while you're on your way there? Or would you like me as the DM to mechanicize it and then just get you there? Basically, the like actual what the difference between these two are. One of them will take up the rest of the session. We will absolutely just, you guys will travel. I'll describe to you some of the things that you see. You'll bed down for the night, maybe have a couple of conversations amongst you guys. There might potentially be some amount of like actual things that happen over the night. And then when that expires, you'll wake up and be able to get there, and then that's where we would be anyways. Otherwise, I will just ask you guys to make like a check to determine how long it takes you to get there. And then you'll get there.
So
Okay.
Moggs traveling does not have the ability to ritual cast on the move. We covered that in session 0. So if there's any sights that we encounter on the road that would pique her interest, she would be probably ask about hanging out for a few minutes, 10 minutes. And then I guess depending on what other people say, either would do a ritual cast or might burn a spell slot to do a quick cast.
Okay.
Oh wait. Well, but you can do it on top of like if you're riding in something or like if you yourself aren't moving, you can do it, right?
Yes.
I'll say,
Okay.
for the purposes of making it a little bit more expedient, if you wanted to ritual cast while you were on Caius's shoulders, I'd allow it.
But
That's
like,
fair.
she's not going to be casting it at this point constantly. But it would be if like we saw, I don't know, like a ruins of a camp or actual ruins or something noteworthy.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. If that's the case, then just for the sake of consistency, would you guys be okay with the first option where we actually do roleplay the sights and sounds and things you see and then actual camp?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with that.
How does Harvey and Lumia feel about that?
I'm also cool with that.
Yeah, that would be okay.
Cool. And is Moggs all right with it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Right, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and want a group check here. Group checks will be different than individual checks in that group checks are made all at once. They're made from every person of the party with whatever bonuses they want to apply to themselves or their party members. and it is not a like pass fail. It is a majority pass or majority fail. In this case, I will go ahead and say that you need at least 2 of you to pass this check in order to get there on time. If 3 or more of you pass the check, you'll get there ahead of time. If 1 or fewer of you pass the check, you will be a little late.
Gotcha.
Oh God, I'm gonna
This
bring
is a
everybody
survival
down.
check. You can cast guidance on somebody if you would like, Lumia. That is absolutely allowed, but only on one person. And
Not me.
You should cast it on yourself.
whoever's the
Yeah.
lowest bonus to survival.
I'm gonna cast it on
Oh.
me myself.
The lowest to survival. Huh?
Yes, this is very explicitly a survival check. Oh fucking jeez.
Oh.
Oh god.
Oh shoot!
Oh,
I accidentally pulled
Jesus.
2 dice. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Ignore those. Ignore those.
How could you?
Have we
I'll burn
already
my
lost before
inspiration.
even? Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. We have
Inspiration being burnt.
inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Did I?
22.
Remember
I
your
mean-
totals. I will ask for them here in a moment.
Okay.
Also, don't forget, Lumia, you do have guidance for yourself.
Okay. I rolled a 19 pre-guidance that I did use for myself. So I'll roll
Haru,
my
I'm
4
so
of it.
sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I used up my inspiration as well,
Ooh.
and I rolled a worse.
Yeah, I rolled a 19 and a 4.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
Logs, what is your total?
22.
22? Beautiful. That is definitely a pass. Caius, what is your total?
I rolled an 8. I mean, total 8.
Total? Okay, that is a fail. So that's 1 pass and 1 fail. Harvey, what is your total?
My total is 11.
11. So that is also a fail. And then Lumia, how much? is your total?
23.
Okay, that's a pass. That's 2 passes. That is what you needed in order to get there on time. You guys start to, and that's just going to be kind of like the roll that will carry over until you arrive. You will not need to make another survival check for the rest of the travel. Does that make sense?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's easier to just kind of condense it down into one. That way, you also like you can spend the inspiration here, and it's like much more valuable than it would be if I were to make you guys make checks every day. Just to figured I'd throw that out there.
That's an inspiration bait, is what that is.
Yeah. You're gonna get one next session anyway. You're not gonna have time to fight this
Yeah.
troll unless.
Hey.
Speed running the troll.
The first thing that strikes you guys as you set out on this travel is just how much the noise picks up the further away from the town you get. Close to the town, it is quiet. It's windy, and you know it's frostbitten. It's snowy. It's a forest and tundra and these rolling hills. It's inhospitable to say the least. But the further out you get, the more south you go, the more you start to hear noises, chittering and chirping, and you start to see wildlife become more abundant. There are smaller creatures that are here that remind Lumia and Caius of your homes. You start to see things like what look like snow rabbits and what look like small mice or birds or things of that nature, but are very slightly off. They're always a little bit different from what you know. Lumia, you in particular, you are aware of your hometown is actually like not accosted by, but there's a shit ton of owls that live in the place that you're from that are like in the surrounding area. So very frequently when it's nighttime in the forest surrounding your area, is just a constant like hoo hoo, just like a shit ton of owls hooing. And you see what you imagine to be a white owl, one that you are not super familiar with because you're not in like a snowy landscape. And you know, it's not like you're going out of your way to investigate this or anything, but just as you guys are walking, keeping a quick gait so you can get there on time, you're glancing at this owl, and it turns to look at you, and you see that it has 3 eyes. And it's maybe a little off-putting, maybe a little curious, but it does not make a noise. It simply stares at you as you walk past and sort of just passively watches as you continue walking. There is a point in your travel where the woods and the sort of foresty areas start to become a lot more sparse. Trees are a lot more spread out. They're harder to come across in dense wooded areas. The woods of this place are not large enough to be marked on the map. They are small enough to where it is really just a little pocket of maybe like there's 200 trees here, and that's about it. But now, as you're getting more and more into the plains and the tundra and the open fields, it's a snow-blasted landscape. The winds start to become more buffeting as you get further and further out. And so you guys have a decision that you need to make at this stage. If you want to continue forwards and try to find a place to make camp, there is a chance that you may not find a place to make camp and will have to make camp where there are buffeting winds and a shit ton of snow that will probably keep you guys awake and potentially threaten exhaustion. Or if you continue on, you will have to continue even further and risk getting a level of exhaustion to reach a point where you can comfortably camp. Or you can cut your travel for the day short, take your camp here, and it may take you a little, like maybe about a quarter of a day to get the rest of the way to where you're going.
But we would still get there on time?
Yeah, you'll still get there on time. It's just whether or not you want to camp closer to the troll pack or further away from the troll pack.
Question.
Yes.
Exhaustion?
Exhaustion is a mechanic in 5th edition. You can have up to 6 levels of exhaustion, after which you die. First level of exhaustion gives you disadvantage on all of your ability checks. Second level of exhaustion will make you move at half speed, and it continues in this way until you reach the 6th level of exhaustion, which simply has the term death written on it. You die.
What happens then?
I don't know.
God.
So ability checks would be sleight of hand, perception, etc., but not
Oh,
attack.
gotcha.
Let me go ahead and pull it up so I can have the specifics. Level 1 is disadvantage on ability checks. Yes, that would be stealth, sleight of hand, so on and so forth. Level 2 is speed is halved. Level 3 is disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Level 4, your hit point maximum is temporarily halved. Level 5, your speed is reduced to 0. And level 6 is you die. You
Right.
can get rid of a level of exhaustion on a long rest. You can only reduce a level of exhaustion by 1 every long rest. So what I'm effectively saying here is if you rest in the tundra, you will awaken with a level of exhaustion. If you press on further, you will get a level of exhaustion before you have an opportunity to rest, which could potentially risk monsters attacking you and you all having disadvantage on ability checks during that time. If you decide to stay back and rest where the tree line is thicker, you will not have those risks.
So it sounds like the only logical option is to rest in the tree line.
Yes.
It's either exhaustion, or non-exhaustion.
Pretty much. It'll just take a little longer for us to get there.
Pretty much. Okay. So you guys start to set up your camp. Basically, you're like at the edge of the tree line here. You're a little further into the woods than you are out of the woods. So you can hear the wind trying to come further into the forest, but the thicket of trees that are surrounding you are enough to stop the wind from being a problem. The snow is still falling, and maybe every once in a while there's a little gust that comes in and kind of like billows a cloak, or maybe finds its way through your clothing and kind of like makes your skin feel cold. But aside from that, it's relatively comfy. So you set up camp, you start setting up your tents and your bedrolls. You find some sort of like some brambles and like wood for fire. You start to like use your flint and steel to light a flame to keep yourselves warm throughout the night. You probably position your tents in such a way to where the wind doesn't have an opportunity to blow out your campfire. And once it's set up, you have a very nice, comfortable little camp here with maybe like a felled a stump of a tree or something for you guys to sit up on, or like a log, maybe a stone or two, and a campfire. As the sun starts to set in the sky, you all recognize that this night is going to be incredibly cold. And you have an opportunity to possibly share rations with one another, maybe get to know each other on the road, or simply to bed down for the evening if you so desire.
I guess once the camp is set up and everything, Kaius kind of sits down and like takes like some scrap wood and starts whittling away with like a knife he just had. And as he's carving, he's like carving out the sculpt. Like it looks like the beginning features of like I think it was called the Lasheri.
Yeah. Do you have proficiency in woodcarver's tools?
I do.
Hell fucking yeah. Make a woodcarver's tool check for me. You're just gonna roll a d20 and add your proficiency.
Alrighty.
And just so that way, oh fuck,
Jesus, dude.
Just so that way everybody is aware, the way that those checks work, tool proficiencies and like vehicle proficiencies, I do not assign a ability score to those checks, so that way they are more ubiquitous. Everyone has an equal opportunity to use the tools provided to them. The reason that I do that is because I also lower the DC of the check. So like if you were making a sleight of hand check, the DC would be 15, but because you're making a woodcarver's tools check, the DC is probably like 10, maybe 8, something like that. In this case, you get started on it. I'm going to say that the failure here is not like you fuck it up. The failure is you're going a little slow.
It's been a minute since I've done my last wood carving.
The wood here is not wood that is designed for carving. It's not wood that is harvested explicitly for carving. This is some pretty hardy stuff. You imagine once you finish whittling this down, it's going to last a pretty long time. It's going to last the test of time, especially if you like seal it with some beeswax or something like that. That would be a work of art, truly. And so you get started on whittling it away, maybe creating a small sort of like pile of splinters at your feet as you're doing so. Lumia, you approach presumably with some of the rations that you've prepared for yourself. Maybe there's like a pot that's over the fire that's boiling some stew that you guys are preparing. You guys have got some bowls and spoons ready for yourselves. The firelight on the campfire is flickering away and casting shadows on your tents. The wind can't reach you because of the way that your tents are constructed, so you guys are sitting in relative silence. There's an occasional sort of noise in the woods that none of you can truly place. Not even really Harvey, even though you've lived here for most of your life. You hear it and you're like, I don't know what the fuck that is. So
some kind of cryptid.
Yeah, something. It's some kind of Bigfoot thing that's just out in the woods. But you are unaccosted in this moment as you all sort of sit down and enjoy the warmth of the fire. Take a ladle, spoon some soup into your bowls, and have an opportunity to eat in silence.
We didn't see anything interesting on the road.
No. Between here and where you're going, it is woods and plains.
Gotcha.
So I guess like just for like safety purposes, this guy is gonna like trip up. So I'll go ahead and take the first watch before like he actually takes like once he feels like everything is safe, he's going to like go to sleep. But he's gonna be he's gonna say he feels like he's gonna be the last to go to sleep.
Okay.
Just to make sure if anything shows up.
Well, that's a comfort.
Yeah.
Shoot. But yep, he's just sitting there whittling away, trying his best to carve out that Lasheri. But
yeah, but you know what? Those of you who have any desire to desire to get to know your companions more, it might strike you as a little strange that the brutish, fisticuffs wielding barbarian in your crew is doing something so artisanal. Because I'd say anyone who cares would immediately get to clock, he's making a Lasheri. Like, the form starts to take shape pretty quickly.
He's more than just a brute.
Do you say that, or are you thinking?
I'm thinking it.
Fair.
Somewhat sarcastically. I chuckled to myself.
What are you gonna do with that?
What do you mean? I carve whatever beast I've encountered with. Have a bunch of them back in my tribe.
And then what?
They're just kind of there. They're not really anything special. They're just it's more so like think of it as carving out a memory.
You keep it with you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna keep it with me.
What?
Would you like one?
No.
Right.
Quick.
Mogs are so fucking frustrating.
Sweat. No.
Gotcha. So he just
Neat,
kind of
though.
looks at,
It's neat though.
Neat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of rough around the edges, if I do say so myself. I'm still working on it. I wouldn't say so much as say it's neat.
I've never seen anyone do that before.
I mean, I haven't seen anybody do what you do either, but I feel like what you did to that Lasheri was kind of messy, not neat.
Yeah, that was pretty messy.
Yeah. So what is your definition of neat? I'm confused.
You know, it was neat, like it's cool.
Do you like impressive even?
Looks at it. Not yet.
I didn't think so either. I have to work on it a little bit more. I'm sorry.
But it's neat.
Right. I guess neat.
Maybe
Neat,
later.
you say. Maybe yeah. Come back to me a little bit later. I'll have it ready.
The first thing that came to my mind when Moggs was like, "Oh yeah, just it's neat. It's not that impressive. It's just like, damn, you little shit." It's great. I love it. I love it so much. Does anyone else have anything that they want to do before they bed down for the evening? Any conversation that they want to have? They want to like seek out.
I think Lumia has a lot to chew on and is probably anxious to disconnect just to have some time to think, to be honest.
Cool. So Caius, you'll be taking the first watch, correct?
Correct.
Do you have dark vision?
I do.
Roll a perception check for me.
Right. How am I with that? Oh, I'm proficient in
And who will be taking the second watch?
Me, I'll do it.
Beautiful.
And me.
No,
Okay.
just me.
That
Do your
will
own
be
watch.
a 2-hour gap of time.
The enemies.
And what's your bonus?
+2.
Plus 2, 21. You are as vigilant as a hawk. You are scanning the landscape surrounding you. Your dark vision only lets you see out to 60 feet, but it does let you see in relative clarity. It is black and white, but it is still clear. The light from your campfire helps as well. It's not like the brightest thing in the world as of now. You're kind of letting it run on a very small flame, but you maybe spend a moment, continue carving as you have an opportunity to make sure to do your rounds appropriately, but nothing approaches during your watch. You hear a couple of things in the forest and can see sort of like a small shadowy figure that kind of like darts away. But you recognize the silhouette of the figure as it does. It was just one of those rabbits that you were seeing earlier.
Okay, gotcha.
So you kind of like threat assessment. I imagine Caius is relatively, whether or not Caius himself acknowledges it or even is aware of this, Caius is probably pretty good at assessing threats. And so you see that, and there's sort of a moment of maybe a little bit of like tensing of muscles where you're preparing for something to happen. But almost an instant later, you see the silhouette of the creature, and you sort of like relax your shoulders and see that's not a threat.
Yeah.
The 2 hours pass, and you know what? Yeah, does Lumia want to take the second watch?
I will take the second watch, and I do have a question. So I know that I have dark vision. Caius has dark vision. Does anyone else in the party have dark vision?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone dark vision.
Everyone
I'm
does
very-
have it?
Yeah, I'm very grateful that everybody has dark vision, because that means I don't need to fuck with light mechanics.
Oh, that means I have no use for Eyes of Night, though. Ooh, womp womp. That's
It
okay.
depends. It depends. You could look for an NPC to adopt that doesn't have dark vision.
Give me purpose, NPC.
Oh
Shoot,
my
we
God.
might have to transport somebody.
I think Moggs needs a friend.
I have a friend.
So this is one of your subclass features, right?
It is, and I'm just thinking about it because I think, like, you know,
So here's the deal. Standard dark vision is a 60-foot range. Your dark vision is a 300-foot range, and you can share that with other
Oh my
creatures.
God.
that is
You
true.
can-
It's big
You
time.
can give those creatures a 300-foot range dark vision. It only lasts an hour once you share it. You can't do it again unless you spend a spell slot or finish a long rest, but during your watch, at least, you'll be incredibly perceptive. Your perception check will not just be 60 feet, it will be the 300, the 5 times. Jesus Christ, by the way. It'll be the 5 times longer range.
Enhance.
Yeah, seriously.
Crazy.
That is so good.
Well, I think instead of that, though, I'm actually going to return a kindness and be thinking about my friend Moggs. I would like to, well,
She is there right there with you.
Moggs! God damn it,
What?
Moggs! You're
Is-
supposed to, that's the point of watching in shifts, is you're supposed to sleep.
Is this happening as like we're transferring shit?
Yeah, I would say that like Lumia wakes up, and as Lumia wakes up, perhaps they don't realize that Moggs is like right there, and then Lumia starts to like prepare themselves. Moggs also wakes up, and Caius, you're kind of like standing there seeing that they're getting out of their bedroll. You're like, huh. All right.
All right. Well, then I am going to cast Eyes of Night on, I guess it would be technically anyone that's within 10 feet of me. That includes you, Moggs.
Yeah, you
Hooray!
can if you wanted to. I know that this is like a little gamey, but you can just like, even Harvey, who's fully dead asleep, you can share it with them.
I'm Ethan, bro.
Enjoy
They just
seeing
suddenly
it.
are able to
Look at the back of my
more.
eyelids and
Yeah, back
freak
your
out.
eyelids gain a great deal of clarity.
Said, this is a lot of noise for trying to keep watch.
Yeah,
I'm
whoever's-
just imagining after Caius goes into his tent as he's like laying down for the night, we hear, "You probably shouldn't break that if it's not yours."
God damn it.
Ugh.
Just incidentally, like, you take off your necklace and it says it. Just like, oh my God.
No, okay. So he wouldn't. So with Kai's, he would never take that necklace off, but it does annoy him.
Cool. So who's taking the second watch? It's going to be Lumia and Moggs?
Mhm.
Okay.
I was so sure Lumi was gonna be like, I can't sleep.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
cast unconscious on Moggs. Both of you make a perception check for me.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So Lumia, what's your total?
20.
Awesome. And Moggs, what's your total?
Sorry, I said 20. I was excited about 20.
Mine was 19.
Just total 19. Okay, wow, Jesus. The difference between a +0 and a +6. Yeah, the two of you have the 2 hours of your rest, maybe a little bleary-eyed, having only slept for 2 hours and then woken up in order to take this watch. But you know this is standard adventurer's fare. Really, you guys are only going to get a reliable 6 hours of sleep every night as the shifts of keeping watch take its toll. But it won't stop you from getting a good night's rest. You take stock of the area around you. You especially, Lumia. You recognize, even though you felt that sort of pang of understanding that you're being watched earlier in the day, you can still see with great clarity through the trees and the darkness, and you recognize that though you are being witnessed, you are not being scrutinized, you're not being judged, you're simply being watched. It strikes you in this moment that it may not be out of judgment that you are being watched, but out of worry and care. it's not as though the teachings of morning condemn curiosity. It's not as though the teachings of morning say that curiosity is heretical. But it is as though the teachings of morning say that you should prepare yourself for dire consequences if curiosity gets the better of you. The term curiosity killed the cat comes from your sect of religion. And so you are, of all the people, you are keenly aware of this fact. And it almost feels like a hand on your shoulder, sort of like a side hug. In as much of a way as it could feel like this, it feels as though your deity is trying to make sure you'll be okay.
Aw.
Okay.
They're not a malicious deity. They're not going to be like, "How dare you seek this?" They're gonna be like, "All right, just be careful. Like, don't you might not like what you find." And so there's a comfort that you have, and as you sort of like lean into that comfort, you realize you're leaning into Moggs.
Oh.
And I think for doing a watch shift, I'm assuming Lumia's not feeling particularly chatty at night, and particularly after what's been just going on. Moggs probably spends a decent amount of her time just for shits and giggles ritual casting detect magic.
Okay.
Not like constantly, but just every now and then, just kind of like got nothing else going on.
You spend a moment casting detect magic and look in the area surrounding you. The range of detect magic is it 30 feet or 60 feet?
Let me double check.
The DM asks ominously.
God.
30.
Cool. So your
Sucks.
it's largely the same as the watch that Caius had, where you examine your surroundings, and Lumia and Moggs now, because you do have the blessing of the Eyes of Night. It's not hard to see in these woods, and you see a great number of creatures. You see a couple of what look like perhaps little ferrets or weasels kind of playing in the snow in the middle of night, nocturnal creatures in this area of the woods. You see an owl kind of like nestling itself, and as you look up with your detect magic, you're not sure if it's the detect magic that's pinging off, or if it's the Eyes of Night that's pinging off, or something of that nature. But there's this like slight reflection that you see in the triple eyes of this owl as it turns to look at you, and then you look back to the campfire and realize it is the flame flickering in its eyes, and kind of look back up to it and see that it's gone. But two of you go completely unaccosted over the course of this long rest, of the course of this part of your watch.
Don't say it went like that when I'm next.
Yeah.
Well, as the 2 hours end, there is a third and technically fourth watch that need to be taken. The only person left to take a watch is Harvey. So I will allow Harvey to decide if they want to take the third watch, so from hours 4 to 6, or if they want to take the fourth watch from hours 6 to 8.
I would like to take the third watch.
Okay, so you'll go for hours 4 to 6?
Correct.
Cool. In that case, Lumia and or Moggs, you can awaken Harvey to inform them that it is their time to take the watch.
I'll go in and jostle him.
You are jostled by a small kobold.
Harvey, you're up.
Make your bedroll like.
All right, here I go.
Yeah, you stand up. You're going to get Lumia. Just by the way, you're in the process of a long rest. If you want to, you can spend a spell slot to get your Eyes of Night back and give it to Harvey before you go to bed, because you're just going to get that spell slot back when you wake up, anyways.
Oh, well then let's absolutely cast Eyes of Night again.
Okay. So there's like a hand placed on you from Lumia, and suddenly you have like insane clarity through the darkness, more than your normal dark vision can grant. It's still black and white, but it's like it's 5 times the distance that you can see. It's kind of like
it's significant.
Yeah,
So-
it's a noticeable difference.
I don't want to be maybe too gamer here, but is there a particular reason we couldn't just like for a couple minutes wake up Lumia whenever there is a shift change?
I mean,
Because she will kill you?
You
think-
totally could if you want to. I will allow Jinxie to determine if there will be any repercussions for Lumia or for the person who wakes her up every 2 hours.
That
You're very
Those are-
nah, fam.
my point being, if she's going to recover her spell slots after the rest is done,
Mhm.
every shift change she could put the eyes on whoever's about to go on shift so they can see, and we
So
have that covered the
it'll-
entire night.
It'll give them for an hour rather than 2, so it'll only
Oh,
be
it's half
half.
the shift. Okay.
In addition, I wouldn't say that if you're woken up even for just a couple of minutes every 2 hours at night, you are not getting a restful sleep, and I will roll to see if she gets exhaustion.
Got it. Okay, just wanted to ask.
But
I will crash
you-
this car and kill us both.
you're totally correct in saying that you could do that if there's ever a point in time where that is actually like a precedent that you really need. Lumia can risk the exhaustion.
If
It'll
we're
be a
somewhere
roll.
that's really dangerous or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But I'll also say I know that I said this as a DM. Like, oh, do you want to spend a spell slot? Hehehe. There is a chance you could be ambushed, and that means that you've just burnt a spell slot.
Hmm.
And you don't have it for the ambush. But a full confession, you're not going to be ambushed tonight. I'm not gonna hit you with a fucking ambush on your first night. You'll be fine. I lied.
Tell Harvey rolls that natural one.
Yeah.
Harvey, go ahead and give me a perception check, man.
All right.
give me what you got. Give me the natural one that I'm looking for.
It was really close. I was scared for a second. 8.
8. Okay. I'll be honest. Harvey has a hard time acclimatizing to a 300-foot dark vision. It's not that it doesn't hinder you. It really doesn't. It helps, but it is one of those deals where it's like you are used to the nighttime. I imagine you are used to having to be careful at night. You lived in a small settlement, effectively a settlement in the wilderness. You had to take watches frequently. You're used to this. This is not something you are unfamiliar with. Maybe not with such a small party, but with a group of like 30 or 40 other people every night. A handful of you would need to take watch every 2 hours. And so you're looking out through the woods, and with how much experience you have of this, you're expecting to only be able to see out 60 feet. Then you see a shadowy figure move 250 feet away, and you see it, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And you kind of like glance to the left, glance to the right, glance back in that direction. You see another shadowy figure, and you're like, I don't imagine Harvey is a person who would be shaken easily. You're not like frightened of this, but you're concerned that you can see all of the woodland creatures moving. And
Right.
so you're a lot more, I guess, like skittish would be the right word, where normally it would be like, out of sight, out of mind, but now you're seeing literally every single woodland creature frolicking around in the nighttime. Any nocturnal creature you can bear witness to, and so you're kind of like, what was that? Where's that coming from? And once that hour fades, it's back to normal. And it's almost the opposite effect, where you're kind of like, well, now I don't know if there's anything out there. And so you kind of squint and try and look a little harder. It's like, it's not an actual detriment, but maybe a very slight, like, first look of like a psychological detriment to like having such a huge dark vision range.
Jinxie gave me fucking laser pointer disorder.
But your watch also goes unaccosted.
Okay.
And it's at this point that you can bed down for the remaining 2 hours. It will leave you without a watch, but you only have embers left in your campfire, so you're not going to be standing out like a sore thumb. The snowfall has kind of like caked on the sides of your tents, making it blend into the environment a little more. You don't imagine that there will be any risk if you were to go to sleep without a fourth watch. So
I think Mox was planning on doing fourth watch.
that will interrupt your long rest and give you exhaustion.
Okay.
You want to take a fourth watch?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me
Well,
a
hell.
perception. As Harvey, you were woken up by Moggs for your watch, and Moggs had asked you to wake them up for the fourth watch.
Okay.
So go ahead and give me that check. Beautiful. You got like +6, right? That's 24.
24.
Yeah, you scan the horizon during this watch, and it doesn't really. It's close to dawn, so like the sky starts to get a very small tinge of blue. It doesn't seem like there's any creatures that are like approaching you during this watch. Is there anything you want to do?
Same as before. She's just kind of tinkering around and detect magic in her spare time because she's got nothing else better to do.
Cool. Go ahead and make an Arcana check for me as you cast detect magic during this rest. This will just be like a blanket Arcana check for every time you've cast it during the night. What's your bonus?
That would be a 1.
A 1.
Not a bonus of 1. I rolled a 1.
Man, there's something magical about those owls. You see an owl sort of flitter away, and you look back up at it, and you swear you can see a flicker of magic as it flies away.
Moggs wouldn't go chase it, would it? Would she?
I don't know. Would
Not it!
I'm sorry.
No, not while doing watch. No.
Okay.
No, she's done watches before. She knows the responsibility that is involved with them.
The idea of Mox just sprinting into the woods after this fucking owl. Cool. You do finish your watch.
Now, during the
unaccosted.
daytime, if we see another one,
I am gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna ask you to roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you do suffer the penalties accrued from exhaustion. We'll make this a DC. I mean, you're getting half the rest, really. We'll make this a DC 15.
Yep.
Oh my
right.
god. There's no critically failing saving throws, so it is just one level of exhaustion.
Okay.
So any checks that you make for this day will be made at disadvantage. You'll be able to recover that on the next long rest.
sounds good.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I know it's like not my thing, but like if we do have a party member that is currently rolling at advantage and I give them advantage, does that just cancel out the disadvantage or take it from disadvantage to neutral, or it does nothing, or it's from a disadvantage to advantage?
I have a definitive answer for this question, which I already knew pretty well, but I've become much more acquainted with because of the build that Fen plans on doing. Advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out.
Okay.
It is to the point where if you have 1,000 instances of disadvantage and 1 instance of advantage, you roll normally, and vice versa. If you have at least 1 advantage and at least 1 disadvantage, you will always roll normally. Now, of course, there are going to be instances I'm being the dungeon master, kind of am the bar. I set the rules, I set the bar for the rules. So there may be instances where I'm like, this is cool enough that even though you have disadvantage, I'm gonna let you roll with advantage instead, where it's like it doesn't cancel out, it just adds advantage instead. But rules as they are intended, any amount of advantage and any amount of disadvantage will cancel each other out and make it a normal roll.
Hey, that's helpful to know.
Very much so. I will go ahead and say that that is a good question to ask. Vigilant Blessing does give advantage on the next initiative roll, and initiative rolls are skill checks. So if you were to give Vigilant Blessing to Moggs, they would roll a normal initiative roll instead of rolling at disadvantage.
I didn't know initiative was a skill check.
It's so the only reason why I know that it's a skill check is because there's a feature called Jack of All Trades that Bard gets at level 2, which says it adds half of their proficiency to all of their skill checks. Initiative counts, and it adds half of their proficiency to their initiative, making them the fastest on the draw character, weirdly.
Cool.
So you guys waken largely refreshed and ready for the day. Spell slots restored. Any hit points you were missing are completely healed. Not that you were missing any, but ready to kind of like finish this last leg of the journey, get to the troll camp, and figure out what's up.
This is already up.
Dude, you've been doing push-ups. You've been fucking. You've been punching a tree this morning. There's already like a little fucking like hole carved in the tree. Like a dent.
No, he's not doing any of that. He's just an early riser. Not now, like especially since we're out in the wilderness kind of right now. He's not just about to go punching trees because who knows what might pop out.
You guys' caution is admirable. So I'm going to go ahead and ask what the marching order will be as you are traveling. If you are walking in single file, or if you're walking 2 wide, or if you're walking 4 wide. I don't really mind. I just need to know what your positions are relative to each other while you're marching. For no reason in particular.
4 wide would be kind of strange. I mean, have you ever seen like 4? Like that's like what is that? 4 wide would be like.
Have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I think that's how the crew strolled up in season 3. They like fucking marched 4 wide into town.
Oh, I was about to say Wizard of Oz when they were going to
fucking just like wildly different, but same idea.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's 4 wide. I don't know. Do you guys?
Are we walking a diamond?
Sure.
Oh my
I
god.
was thinking Caius in the front with Moggs on the shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah, I do feel like Caius would be taking point.
I'm okay with Moggs being on Caius' shoulder. I'll say when combat starts, Caius will need to either drop or put Moggs down, or they will be moving at probably half speed and not have any hands free. But if you want to sort of have Moggs on Caius and have Caius taking the lead, who would be either behind or beside Caius?
I feel like Caius would be in the front, and then myself and Harvey would be flanking him on either side, maybe slightly behind.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Okay,
weird.
so kind of like a V formation.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because Caius
the
said
Mighty
to
Ducks.
stop touching his stuff, so Moggs would not be climbing up on him.
You said what now?
Because Caius told Moggs to not touch his stuff anymore, so she wouldn't be climbing up on him anymore.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean-
valid.
So where would Moggs like? Here, I'll go ahead and like represent this physically on the board, so that way we have the general idea. You put yourself where you want to be, Moggs, relative to everyone else. Cool. So we're making kind of like a diamond formation or like a T. Awesome.
That's cool.
Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and ask for each of you to do is I want you guys to make a group perception check, same as before. This will be a lower DC. This is a DC 12 perception check. If 2 or more of you succeed, you will see the thing that I'm trying to show you, and if 3 or more of you fail, you will not.
Wait, we roll 1 or 2?
Moggs rolls 2 because they have disadvantage.
Oh.
Fuck.
I
got an 11.
Oof.
All right.
Ooh.
So, Harvey, you said you got an 11?
Yeah.
How much did Moggs get?
8.
All right, 11, 8. Lumia, how much did you get?
7.
And Caius, how much did you get?
Oh, we forgot the guidance.
Yeah, definitely forgot guidance.
You know what? Yeah, go ahead and pop guidance on any. Who has the lowest perception score here?
Probably would have been good on me because I have disadvantage in this
That's
situation.
true. If you want to pop it on Moggs, that's perfectly fine.
But otherwise, I have probably the highest bonus to perception, so you could give it to someone who has a low one.
I rolled a 5, and I almost said I wanted to roll a inspiration, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Oh, I have inspiration that I haven't used actually.
I will say the session is about to end, so if you want to burn your inspiration, now would be the time to do it.
Okay, well then I'm gonna burn my
Okay.
inspiration. I'm gonna cast guidance on Moggs. Is that still an available option? I think I can do.
Sure, absolutely.
You want me to re-roll my 2 because of that, or is it
Just
supposed to be done
roll,
beforehand?
roll a d4 and add it to whatever you got. And then we'll see what the new rolls that Caius and Lumia.
You're
Fuck me.
actually kidding.
Oh my god! You know that nat 20 that you rolled earlier? That sucked all the luck out of your character. There's no more luck left.
Oh my god, I rolled 2 5s in a row.
Okay. Session's over. You guys get eaten. I don't know.
We woke up like just groggy and everything.
You know the if you guys ever had to work a night shift and then the immediate day following work a morning shift.
That was me.
Open.
Yeah, like you had to
Open,
work.
yes.
You had to work closed. And you had to work open immediately. That's how you guys are right now.
Can I just take my passive perception?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. It's 16, right?
Cool, I got a 16.
There you go.
Oh, can I do that for me?
I'm going to go ahead and say
Just being a
I
brat.
will. No, I will allow it now for sure. In the future, when like checks are being, when I prompt a check, we're not gonna do passive stuff. However, in the future, there may be points in time where I'm not even going to ask for your guys' rolls. I'm just going to ask for what your passive bonuses
okay.
are.
Got it.
So for now, yes, I will allow you guys to take passive bonuses if it's better than what you rolled, which I think it is.
Yeah, mine's a
So
freaking 10.
What did Harvey get with their passive?
18.
18. Oh my fucking god. What did Lumia get with their passive?
Oh, well, my passive for perception just on its own is 10.
Would you roll if you don't want to take the passive?
Didn't I? I think I just rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1, but I think you rolled like a 4 or 7 or something like that.
Oh,
earlier.
yeah, before that it was a 7. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll say you got a 10. Harvey got a fucking 18. Moggs got a
16.
16, and then what did Caius get?
I got a 5.
5. Okay. So
And my passive is 10, but
so we'll say 10. So that's 2 passes and 2 failures, which will get you to what you're needing. As you guys are walking forwards through you break through the tree line and then continue on in the tundra. It's snowy and it's windy. It seems like this is just kind of how this place is. It doesn't seem like it's beholden to the weather at all. It's almost like there's like a vague wind tunnel here, and as you're walking, you actually see why that is. It was hard to see when you were walking before, and it was hard to see at night, but now that it's daytime and you've broken through the clearing and you walk another maybe like 500 feet or something like that, you start to see a cliff face to your left. Towards the shore, you start to see a cliff face. It's not like a massive cliff or something like that. It's much more like a plateau, relatively similar to where you found Moggs, Lumia. It kind of looks like a similar craggy rock face that is maybe got a couple roots and sort of like super hardy trees that are poking out of it, and then it's got a lot of snow at the top. But you can see that to your left, it rises up relatively quickly, almost a sheer cliff face, and as you are looking at this cliff face, Moggs and Harvey, you guys clock a noise that you recognize as a voice. Do any of you here speak giant?
no.
No.
Okay. You hear what you recognize as a voice speaking in a foreign tongue that you cannot parse. You hear what effectively equates to not like guttural noises, but very sort of deeply entrenched, like it's almost like the way that giant is spoken is almost like grunts and growls and this like very hardy tongue where it's kind of like and you hear that echoing off of the cliff face as you look towards it. And you guys clock that this is maybe like, I'd say a quarter of a click in front of you is where these voices are coming from.
I would like to start sneaking.
Okay. Does anybody else? You know what? Group stealth check.
Group sneak.
Oh lordy.
Oh, God.
No passive this time around. You will have to take whatever you roll. Oh wait, Lumia. Who are you giving your bless to? Who are you giving your guidance to? Moggs has disadvantage right now.
I also have disadvantage because I'm
Because of
wearing
your
chainmail.
It's true.
I mean, I guess it's 6-1, half a dozen the other. I'll give it to Moggs.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah, I would have disadvantage either way. I suppose.
Because you got heavy armor.
Oh my
I've got,
God.
scale.
This, I will say, this is going to be the final roll of the session. This is the make or break one to determine how the next session is going to start.
Yo, dude. Oh, I mean, I gotta.
So roll whatever you got, then add your total together. Remember what you get, and then I'm going to ask here in a moment.
I got a 15.
Wait,
Got a
when you roll
15.
disadvantage, it's 2.
It's roll 2, take the lowest.
Okay, so.
So you got a 10 on that one. If this one's lower, you'll be taking it, but if it's higher, you'll take the 10. Okay.
How about that, DM?
You got me there.
Yeah. Roll a third one.
So, Harvey,
Yes.
what'd you roll, Rogue?
Let me double check real quick. This was 9 and then 14.
14? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Caius, what did you get?
I got a 15.
Awesome. What did Moggs get?
14.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what did Lumia get?
Just the 10, I think.
Just the 10? Cool. That is 3 successes.
Oh, wait. I forgot.
Yeah,
I did.
dexterity.
I did. I got it as a 16. Got it.
Cool. It's still 3 successes, 1 failure. It is a party-wide success. You guys managed to get close enough to see who's making these noises. Let me pull up the map.
Oh, grr.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Oh.
I see what you did there, Fed.
Hold on, I forgot to like set an atmosphere on this map, so I pull into it, and it is dead fucking silent.
Oh, yeah. I just void.
Do the Attack on Titan theme.
It's on Titan theme. It may or may not be necessary depending on what you guys decide to do, but we'll see. We'll see.
There, I have ideas.
What do you mean?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
We'll go ahead and pop that on there. Apply that to game board. Now I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to fetch all players.
Oh no, I'm scared.
I'm being fetched.
Oh,
Oh.
this is
So
cool.
This is the encampment that was referenced. This is the place that was seen before. You guys are not presently on the map. You are not like actually here, but you see there's a couple of relatively large tents. These tents are pointedly larger than average, meant to allow large creatures to reside in them. In the center, around about this area here, I'm not putting them on the map right now because they're not, I don't want to. But around about the center of the encampment, you see not one, but 2 trolls talking to one another. You see that there's one troll that is what looks like seated on a stump of wood that is at their base, looking up at the other one. They're leaning forwards. Their sort of like elbows are on their knees. Their hands are clasped in front of them, and they're nodding as the other one is speaking. And the one that's speaking has their hands outstretched, almost in a pleading manner. You cannot decipher what specifically it is that they're saying, unless any of you have the spell Comprehend Languages, which I'll go ahead and put out there now. Does anyone have Comprehend Languages?
I do not.
Mostly it would be Moggs who would have Comprehend Languages, I think.
Nay.
Okay. So you see they've got their hands out in this pleading sort of manner. They're almost like asking this other person for something. And this other troll, the one that's seated, shakes their head. Go ahead, everybody give me your choice of a nature or an insight check. Nature to remember some specifics about troll culture, and insight to interpret the conversation that is occurring here.
Let me see something.
Oh shoot. I would like to cast guidance on Mogs.
Okay.
You said nature or insight?
Nature or insight, your choice.
They roll.
Oh yeah, baby. I just got a soft 20 because I have a +2.
My dice got stuck.
Your dice did get stuck, and I don't know how.
Rolled a 7, but I got a 9.
Feel free to re-roll your die if you'd like, Haru.
Oh, did you see that?
I did. I didn't see what the result was.
It didn't.
They didn't
I don't think it
register.
gave me. Yeah.
Funny. What the fuck? Why isn't it
My-
giving me a result? Okay, it
Hang
says
on, hang
11
on.
on the die. It says 11. I can see it.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I see it
I
too.
don't know why
Wow.
you've been banished to the Shadow Realm.
That's okay.
So,
I understand.
Haru, what is your total and what check did you make?
12, and the check was nature.
Okay. Moggs, what'd you roll and what was the check?
15 insight.
15 insight. Okay. Make sure to remember that. Bear, what'd you roll and what was the check?
I rolled a 7, and it's a +2, so 9. It was a nature.
Nature. Cool. And Lumia.
20 total for insight.
Oh my god. Moggs and Lumia. So both of you rolled insight, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. The two of you glean from the conversation happening between these two trolls, as you very obviously can tell that they're trolls. Greenskin, 8 times the body mass of a normal human being. They've got like warts, and it's not like a great look, but they seem to be just having a casual, calm conversation, which strikes you guys as a little peculiar. Trolls are not known to be calm creatures. But the one that is seated obviously appears to be someone who is in some sort of position of power. They, as far as you are able to tell, seem to be some type of tribal leader or head of the encampment here. They're currently trying to hear this other troll out. They're trying to, like, hear out a request or something of that nature. But you see they shake their head, they stand, they put a hand on the other one's shoulder, and they speak something that, again, you don't understand, but you do interpret that they had to decline the request for whatever reason. But after they stand, you see the other troll, dejected, starts to walk away, and this leader troll that you had seen before reaches down to the stump, or what you at least thought was a stump of wood before, and pulls it up from the ground. And you can actually see that it was the top end of a gigantic wooden club. And you can now see it is the size of Caius, that they sort of like rip up from the snow, and you can see the snow kind of like caves in on where the hole was. They hold it by the handle, sort of like drape it over their shoulder. It looks like they have some type of rudimentary leather holster designed to like put this effectively tree trunk back on their backside. And then you see that they have what looks like a bundle of wood that they've recently chopped that was beside them. They reach down, pick up the wood, and start to walk towards another part of the encampment. You guys are far enough away to where you're not going to be seen no matter what you do here. However, if you start to approach, there is not a way for you not to be seen. You will be seen if you begin your approach to the encampment. There's clearly more to this that you guys aren't really able to interpret because you can't understand their language. But if you want to, you can investigate the surrounding area to try and figure out why it is that these trolls are causing a problem in the first place. Because as far as you guys are aware, these trolls don't look like they're hostile. These trolls don't look like they'd be causing anybody any problems. So, I'll let you guys chew on that.
Mog
while
sees
we-
him pull a log club out of the ground and feels an inexplicable, overwhelming urge to tell Caius to touch his necklace.
That's where we're going to go ahead and close out the session for the day. Congratulations, everybody! You did some amazing roleplay today. Truly.
Holy!
Yay, it was fun.
That was the roleplay session right there. Oh my gosh!
At the beginning of the next, I want you guys to keep in mind, next session is going to be 2 weeks from now, and so that means you have 2 weeks to determine what your plan of action is. Moving into this camp or examining the surrounding area, getting more information, what have you. It is entirely up to you as to what you want to do. If you want to go in guns blazing, by all means. But I do ask that before next session, you at least have a little discussion as to what it is that you might want to do, because that'll help me as a DM to plan to actually have interactions with that. Because as of right now, as you can probably tell, this is a battle map. So if you plan on doing something other than battling, it would be helpful for me to know. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and put a troll on the map so you can see the actual guy that picked up the the thing here. I'm gonna go ahead and give player permission to me so that way you can see him.
Ooh.
Oh, they're
He's
cool looking.
handsome.
Oh, the screen shook when you put him down.
Caius, is this your
exciting.
boyfriend?
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I'll fold him.
I'll hold him?
In what way? What do you mean by that?
What do you mean? Can you
Lovingly.
lovingly fold him?
Yeah.